Hey everybody, I have an announcement. My new book, Traumatized, is available for pre-order now. In it, I cover PTSD and complex PTSD, the symptoms we can experience when we have been traumatized, and of course, ways we can overcome these and heal. There is honestly too much helpful information in this book to list it all, but if you've ever wondered if you've been traumatized or are working to overcome past trauma, this book is for you. I cannot wait for it to be out in the world and help anyone suffering, so please pre-order yours today at katiemorton.com.
Hey, Katie, what's your favorite sitcom from when you were a kid?
Favorite sitcom? Step by Step.
Baby, if you've ever wondered what became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
Cincinnati, WKRP.
I know what you're getting at. But...
Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial.
All I know is...
Maybe you and me were never meant to be, but maybe think of me once in a while. I'm on... What is it? Oh, I'm on the dial at WKRP in Cincinnati. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Do you know what I'm... You don't even know it. You're just looking at me like a...
I mean,
so
it sounds...
dinosaurs.
It sounds very familiar. But I wonder if that's The Littlest Hobo where they got their song. It sounds very similar.
It's because I sang both
tomorrow.
of them.
Possibly.
It's interpretive singing of television theme shows. I did a horrible job of WKRP right there. I feel like I could redeem myself if I had to. But I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to...
And you have to come back.
It sounded better in the shower. For some reason, I woke up and that song was stuck in my head.
Our new shower does have quite the echo.
Acoustics?
I wouldn't call it acoustics. I call it echo, which is very different.
Well, the other day I was down there scrubbing my feet, with that pumice stone that we have. What's it called? Mr. Scrubby?
Something like that.
Yep. And I discovered the acoustic properties of our shower because as you get a little lower in the shower, just my voice sounded so much better.
Oh, you were singing or something? Or why were you talking to yourself like scrubbing your feet?
I was muttering to myself. I'll get those people.
My precious. Oh my God. I think I've told you guys on here, but if not, there's this TikTok. I shared it with my mom. This dog barks out of control, which my mom's dog barks out of control. And she can't figure out what to do. They've they've told her no since she was a puppy, squirted her with water, which is how we trained all our dogs. They don't like getting squirted for some reason.
Did that dog go to obedience school?
No, my mom just trained her, but maybe she should have. I don't know. But my mom also had all the time on her hands because Nick and I had moved out,
Yeah.
She was her first grandbaby, Charlotte. But anyway, so my mom trained her and I don't remember her barking at the old house, but she barks at my mom's new house like fucking nuts.
I think because she's trying to earn her keep. So she wants you to think...
Dogs are like that though. They're like...
protecting their turf.
So anyway...
She does a good job of protecting against squirrels, stray dogs.
Mailmen.
Anyone who comes near that property.
Us. If we walk out to get the mail and walk back in the house, she barks again. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is there was this woman on TikTok who had the same problem. Her dog would bark at everything. And she got what was actually a Halloween costume. And this is when she learned that it stops her dog from barking. He won't bark when he had the Halloween costume on like that one day. No barking, even though kids were showing up at the house to get candy. She was like, huh. So she calls it quiet ears because he was supposed to look like an Ewok. So he had like a little thing, made a little furry ear thing. Anyway, so she puts the quiet ears on him and he starts by muttering to himself where he goes.
It's kind of like me wearing headphones.
That's when you said muttering to myself. It made me think of that. And then no barking. And so I told my mom, I was like, you've got to get like a thick headband or something, like one from the 80s that people think is cool now, like it's new again, whatever. And put that over the dog's ears. And then maybe Charlotte won't bark. I don't know if my mom has tried it, but Mom, if you're listening, try it, report back. Please tell us. Send us in a speak pipe. I don't know if she would do that, but maybe she would.
Live from Carrie's dog training school.
I've tried to get her to come on the channel for years and she is a hard stop. No.
Yeah.
It's fair. She likes her anonymity.
Yes.
Also,
we'll post her photo right here.
She'll do murder. She does not. I won't let that happen because I love you just that much.
All right. This is a drawing of
a rough sketch of Carrie.
That's not your mom. That's the Unabomber.
Actually, there's
hoodie, glasses.
There's one photo of us we can share because I asked her about it. We took a funny photo of us with headbands on. They were like Christmas headbands. They were so ridiculous. If they hadn't been so expensive, because we were in Santa Monica, they were like $40. We would have bought them if they were like 10. But anyway, I was like, can I post this? She's like, yeah. So
got permission.
I'll let you post that photo.
Excellent.
Anyway, but the quiet ears cracks me up. The muttering when dogs mutter to themselves.
Never seen a dog mutter to itself.
Me neither. I'll give Sean the link to that TikTok because I saved it.
Cool.
I save a lot of animal talks.
Oh, I have something that I came across and I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay.
I follow some comedy accounts here and there on the internet.
On the interwebs.
Interwebs. One of them is Moist Buddha. Have you followed that one?
Sounds disgusting. I don't even like that word, moist.
Why? Duncan Hines is moist.
That's a cake.
Yeah. Is it disgusting because it's moist cake?
I don't like the word moist, and why would I want to call myself?
Why don't you like the word moist?
It's gross. You like the word phlegm? It's another good one.
Ian Fleming.
That's like
James Bond.
What's the name of the
hawking
town?
A loogie.
There's a town outside of Austin, Pflugerville. Sounds like a loogie.
Yeah, Flugeville.
No offense to people who live in Pflugerville.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's not the point of what I was saying.
Continue.
Moist Buddha.
Yes.
Dusty Dry Buddha. So
Better.
Doesn't matter. They posted something and it made me laugh out loud. And I was like, that's a good idea. But so you know who John Mayer is, right?
Of course.
Yeah. He's the mayor of what? Guitarville? He's like a good guitar player.
He's a very good guitar player.
Okay. Although I'm not a fan of his music.
I love his music. I just don't like when, I don't know if anybody else, this is like unpopular opinion possibly, and I'm gonna share it. I hate I find it so frustrating when I'm at a concert and someone who plays a guitar decides to go on like a 5, maybe 7-minute guitar solo. Has nothing to do with the song. I hate it. I'd cut their strings if I could. I hate it so much. I'm like, is this over yet? What's happening? Why is this still going? When are you going to get to the next song where I can sing along? What's this shit? I can't even sing to it. You're like, yeah, you play the guitar. I already knew that. I can't.
Somebody doesn't like the guitar. You just like the guitar as an accompanying instrument. You don't like it being a lead instrument.
I don't like it to be the only instrument. It needs to be accompanied with song.
Yeah.
And I don't go to see a singer and then just listen to.
And this is why we don't go to concerts a lot together.
Like
because I like to see a guitar solo.
Or drum solos.
There was like a 19-minute guitar solo.
Oh my God, I would have died. I would have just gone to the bathroom.
Awesome.
I'd just go get another beer or something.
Some people are virtuosos. Like you don't go to see Mozart and or who's a piano player that would really rock your socks today?
That's none.
Okay. But like, you go see a piano player like long, amazing.
Is that a piano player? Okay.
Yeah. But it's just a giant piano solo. He's not even singing the whole time. It's just
But that's what I would go for. It'd be like going to Kenny G. You'd know he's going to play the saxophone.
Imagine if Kenny G came out
with
and he was like, hey, everybody, today I'm going to play the triangle for 3 hours.
Oh my God. But that's the thing. That's how I feel when I go to see someone and they don't, and then they go into this other, and sure, it's music. And I know, like I said, I don't think it's a popular opinion. It's just my opinion. And I've never actually told anybody out loud, and it feels good to get that off my chest. Because forever, a lot of people will be like, yeah. Oh, like the Dwights in the audience. Fuck yeah. And I'm just like, is it over? Like, what fucking time is it? I want play the music.
Oh my God. Is this guitar solo going to be over anytime soon?
I know.
Maybe now's the time to go to the snack bar.
That's usually when I go to the bathroom, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Well, besides, and I get it. I hear you. John Mayer, I think, is really good at guitar.
He's very talented.
I like it when he freestyles. I don't particularly care for his songs.
See, I like his music.
Not the end of the world.
Or I did. I haven't listened to his stuff in a long time.
The live stuff is amazing. Yeah. Because then he goes off the rails from his songs,
guitar
which I don't
solos,
like.
Which I would never see him live for that very reason.
Agree to disagree is the new name of the podcast. So we agree that he's a genius. Mm-hmm. We just don't agree what he's a genius about.
We just don't like the same things.
Can I present to you a bridge where we can both agree that he's a genius?
What did Dusty Buddha say?
This is actually, they retweeted John Mayer because John Mayer had a brilliant epiphany.
Oh, that's awesome. He said they should let everyone on hold with customer service talk to one another. That would be interesting. It's like it's like the old in the olden days when I worked downtown LA, we had to always monitor whether the girls were on the chat line.
Right. So here's the deal.
You guys know what the chat line is?
Let's just.
Or the party line. I was like, that's not quite right.
Right. If you were waiting in customer service.
Party line.
you know, you're the next caller up, or, you know, you have a 20-minute wait, but then you're dropped into the waiting room.
Every introvert watching this is like, absolutely not. I will sit in silence.
Oh, it would be hilarious. You'd be like, hello, this is Sean. I'm waiting.
Like, hello?
Sean has entered the chat, you know, and then you're like, hey, I'm really pissed off at my electric company. You too? You know,
they're the fucking worst.
Your cable company's going to be there between 9 a.m. and 2023. You're like, what?
You just get more and more agitated as you wait.
And everyone gets worked up, and it's a frothy mob by the time. And then all of a sudden,
the poor customer service person.
But then someone commented underneath. Okay, so John Mayer says they should let everyone on hold with customer service talk to one another. And I thought, that's fucking brilliant.
That's hilarious.
You know what was even more brilliant? Brixton, Brixton, commented underneath and said, yeah. Yeah. You could hear their voice. Yeah. People randomly just get pulled out of the group convo like the Rapture when the rep finally puts them on.
It's like
he's been chosen.
As he gets picked up. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. No, but there's this new trend on TikTok. Well, it's not even new, but this trend on TikTok where people use hold music, you know, where it's like the worst. Hold music's the worst. So people have taken the ones like I can't do it justice, but you'll know the hold music when you hear it. You're like, oh, I've been on hold with that music. And someone will like dance to it. And they'll be like, when they put you on hold, but they hit you with that beat. And they're like, it's so bad. It kills me.
That'd be a good app. We should invent that from the idea people. That's who we are, right? We call ourselves the idea people.
I don't know. Maybe we do.
Yeah. This is our new app. It's called The Waiting Room. No matter what waiting you're doing, you turn on the app. And then you just waste your time, and like you're just hanging out. What are you hanging out for?
Well, I'm hanging out with Snake.
Oh. Well, we could put that in the app.
Good.
Yeah, in the waiting room.
Of my old Nokia days.
And it goes. No, that's what game is that? Card game.
Oh, and they shuffle. Yeah. Solitaire. Because remember in The Office, Pam's like, I just like it when it goes.
Do you think when you die and go to heaven, because we're all going to heaven, is it all dogs go to heaven, or all cats?
Everybody
goes to heaven.
All bodies go to heaven.
Yeah. But you get up to the pearly gates, and St. Peter says, hey, we're going to take a look at your life, the film. So you sit down in the waiting room. And then
why would you have to do that? But okay.
It's part of Catholicism. So you wait in the waiting room and you watch your film. Sounds and St. Peter, and you are reviewing your life.
Well, who's St. Peter?
He's the guy that reviews your life when you get up. That's not the point. So, so you and St. Peter are reviewing the footage of your life.
Okay.
And then he says, I noticed between 1991 and 2001, you played about 300,000 hours of solitaire while you were at work.
You're just picking and picking and picking and picking. There's going to be nothing left.
Well, the people at home don't know what I'm doing. The people listening, I'm saying.
Okay. So solitaire. So then you're going to get in trouble for playing solitaire?
Well, not trouble, but they're like, what'd you do with your life?
At least you weren't like robbing people.
That's true. Those people go to hell. And then you review the footage of your life in hell with also St. Peter, because he has to hold down two jobs.
That's why I'm so surprised you didn't really like The Good Place. I feel like you got to give it another go.
I will. Now that I know.
It's almost like that kind of a joke.
For the people listening at home, what is The Good Place? The
Good Place is a show on, I don't know, I never know, CBS, NBC, ABC, nobody fucking cares. But it's a show on television with Ted Danson and what's her name? Kristen Bell. And I don't want to give anything away if you haven't watched it, but it's essentially people die and they wake up in the good place, meaning heaven. And then you learn from there.
Well, I was hooked when I heard Ted Danson was on it, because I'm a big fan of his.
His character is very funny.
He's really good. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Everything he's in.
But anyway,
I hope he wins an Oscar. Not that I want anyone to think the Oscars are important, because I think they're horrible. But if anyone deserves a world-class...
A fake award.
Yeah. You know, where's your Oscar, Katie? You have one around here somewhere. Okay, so that was my first note. With it. Listen, if you enjoy OTDM as much as I think you do, what I need you to do right now is contact 7 friends and bring them in. No,
how is this not a pyramid scheme?
Yeah,
Michael,
tell a friend about OTDM. Just tell one person.
That helps a lot.
Send an email, share the video, share the audio, whatever
Tweet
you want
to do. Tweet it out, reshare it.
It actually does help.
It does.
All right.
And all seriousness.
Yeah.
Super serious. Yeah.
Yeah? You were going to say something?
I was going to say, no, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay. Well, I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
And this is about the Olympics.
Yes. The Humper Bumper was very popular.
Right. Yeah. We did have someone write in and tell us that is called the wiggle worm maneuver.
Really?
Yeah, it's to make the boat go faster. So you're trying
I was
you
right.
ride over the wave.
I said to make the boat go faster and balance it, I would assume.
You hump the air to
Gotta
make the
hump,
boat.
Hump was the best.
Let's play that footage again.
Hump. What would be a better song? It'd be like, do the Humpty Hump. Watch him do the Humpty Hump.
That's pretty good.
Humpty dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, do me, baby. That would be the funniest. Someone should create that.
Shock G died this year.
Oh.
I know. I was really bummed. He's such a musical genius. He really was. And if you're at home thinking I'm making a joke, I'm not. He was really talented.
I don't know that much about him.
Well, he didn't have that fake nose. That was a fake nose.
Oh, I know that. But how old was he even? He couldn't have been that old. Like 50 something, 60?
Yeah, early 50s.
That's really young. The OD or something?
He did actually. I think it was like some sort of... Katie, why do you bring me into the pit of despair?
Well, whenever you tell me somebody's passed away who's a musician and I know that they shouldn't be that old, I'm like, they must OD'd, which is really sad. I'm not like making light of it by any means, but when people play around with different pills and different, even prescribed or not prescribed, like then it's like how, what's his name died?
Heath Ledger?
No, but
Prince?
Yes. No, the Heartbreakers.
Tom Petty?
Yes.
A lot of people, I think, wear themselves really thin, and then if they're touring specifically, and
well, it's hard on your body. You
it's hard on
take
your
care of
body,
yourself.
physically, mentally, and the older you get. I don't know if Shock G was touring when that happened, but I don't think so. I think he passed away. Oh, maybe, you know what? He did. I think it was in a hotel room.
Well, but that's a bummer.
It
Anyway,
is.
okay, so the Olympics.
Oh, right. So I used to be a big fan of the Olympics when I was younger. The earliest Olympics I can remember watching would be the 84 Los Angeles Olympics. So I would have been 9 years old.
I was just
the ones
a wee
previous to
babe.
that would have been 4 years old. So I would have been 5. I wouldn't have remembered those. That was 79. Yeah, maybe winter. Anyways, neither here nor there. I used to love them. I've grown to kind of not
Honestly,
be
it's been the
nonplussed.
last like 10 years where I'm just I'm apathetic.
Is it because we're too old to compete?
No, I think a couple of things.
Bad coverage from NBC?
Yes, horrible coverage. And also we have so much media to consume that the idea, and I'm sure they do this, but I would have to seek it out, and I frankly don't want to. I would like to be able to, before the Olympics come about, like all their promo is just schedules.
Right.
What do you want to watch? Do you want to watch? Because I have certain events I like to watch, like in the Winter Olympics. Like I said, I like the where they ski and then shoot the rifle.
Right.
I would take the time to figure out what the fuck that's called.
It's the uneven bars.
And find out when it's happening. And then I'd be like, oh, my thing's going to be on.
Goat stacking.
How come you're so clammy?
I got coffee going. I was running around setting things
very
up.
Nervous. He's so clammy. Anyway, I would do that, but I feel like with the Tokyo Olympics, things were replayed all the time. I didn't know what was actually happening. And then the closing ceremonies fucking sucked, because usually the opening and closing ceremonies, I'm like, yeah. Like even the ones in China were like amazing and ridiculous.
Okay, you said the C word. And this is why I brought up the Olympics. I am going to boycott the Winter Olympics. I'm done with it.
Where are they at?
They're in China. And and I can't do it.
I'm out.
I am. I really think that the more I read,
The internment camps.
Exactly.
I mean, if you
number
haven't-
one,
and we
then,
only stay in the pit of despair here for a minute.
okay,
But
internment camps in China, millions of people.
very sad. I almost can't. Even the Afghanistan shit, I can't even watch. It's like,
Okay, so we have internment camps. We have, I think, what amounts to a technological war, an online war that's going on. There's a lot of bad things that the Chinese government is doing. I, for one,
we do not
don't want to support it,
unsubscribe.
And I just don't want to. I don't.
So
want
that's
to,
what you brought it up for?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I read an article about it, and it obviously it's a lot more succinct than the
So I
way
won't
I'm
be
going
able to
about
watch them
You
shoot
can watch
the
it,
rifles.
but
no, we will boycott as a family. We'll boycott as an entire community.
I really
No
think
go.
that at this point, no desire. I'm going to share it. I encourage you, if you're watching or listening, look in the show notes. take a look at this article. It explains it a lot better than I do. But after reading the article, I said, you know what? I think I'm not going to lend my eyeballs or my purchasing power to
advertisement
China.
and revenue, blah, blah.
China.
Okay, let's move on. I know everybody's wondering, on the edge of their seats. They've been wondering for a week now. How is Katie's hyperextended thumb doing?
Live from the emergency room.
And I'm going to be honest, it's better, but it's not good.
Really?
I mean, just this morning, and I know you guys don't care. I'll be quick. I'll be brief. Just this morning, I went to get up, like, you know, when you kind of roll out of bed a little bit. And I, of course, whacked this area of my thumb on this hand. And I was like, immediately.
It's a cry for help. I'm convinced.
Who hurts themselves trying to get leggings off of their foot? It's just so tight around the ankle. Horrible.
I've never done it. I don't know. I was surprised that it happened.
Also, nobody came forward switching gears. So that was it. It's still not good. And I'm going to do some reading and research. Also, we need to go get a physical anyway. We need to find some doctors locally. So
I'm not looking forward to getting a physical.
Well, then tighten your shit up. Get things in order. Anyway.
The doctor's like, you're so clammy. Oh, I was running around. I was adjusting things. And
it's just my natural state. Now I forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay. Anyway, my thumb is still hurting and I'm going to figure it out because I'd assume it would take, I should probably just call my cousin too, because that's like her specialty, but it shouldn't hurt still.
Yes, it should. If you hyperextended your thumb, you've got at least a 6-month recovery.
I know what I was going to say. 6 months, way too long. Not acceptable. Unsubscribe. But somebody sent me a wonderful gift.
No, wait, don't go yet. We still have more to tell you.
Somebody gave me a wonderful gift basket. And no one's come forward, Sean. But whoever sent me those wonderful things from Target, I put it on Instagram and I said, please leave a comment if you were the one. This is amazing. I had my chai tea last night, the vanilla caramel chai. And I had some caramellos and I just washed up those new socks. It's amazing. 10 out of 10.
Very good.
How'd they know that you like Ovaltine so much? Maybe they watch this. That's why I'm putting it out there.
I'm like, I don't think we've mentioned Ovaltine on here before, but boy, what a flavor from my childhood.
My dad used to love Ovaltine.
Malt. What is malt? Like when it comes to chocolate, malted chocolate?
It's like Whoppers. My mom used to love Whoppers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like this special flavor from the 1950s. They invented it in 1952. Mr. Malty Balls. His name was Monty, but they're like, we'll call him Malty. And he made the malt balls, Whoppers. Yep. And then from there, they made Ovaltine.
I don't know what malt is. Does anybody know? Like what
Ovaltine is crushed up. They just take the chocolate. Someone has to take the chocolate off the outside.
So they lick them off and then they crush them up.
That's disgusting.
Your method that you were describing was so much better.
Yeah, you scrape it off. You don't lick it off.
Why would you put it on in the first place? But anyway, it was funny because I haven't had Ovaltine in years, but my dad always had it. We always had it in the kitchen. I could even tell you, this is how weird brains are and memories. In our kitchen of our old house, before my mom even repainted the cabinets, this is like when I was a kid, that we had this yellow stove because the 70s were alive and well when that home was built. We had this yellow stove with
it's called style, Katie,
with a hood, and then there were cabinets next to them, and the cabinets to the left of the stove up top is where my dad kept his Ovaltine jar, and back then it was like a glass jar.
Cabinets to the left of me, Ovaltine in the shelf. There I am, boop, stuck in the
stuck in the cabinet with you.
Yep.
But it was just funny because I haven't seen a jar of that in so long that I was like, wow, this is like the modern Ovaltine. Like it looks so different, the container. It was just funny to me. Anyway, they've rebranded, which, you know, they probably should. Although I would argue that now I'm a marketing genius. You guys know this.
It's true.
People should go back to the retro version because people are so into retro.
Sure. Make the font look space age, you know, maybe in the 1950s.
I just meant go back. Like Ovaltine should go back to what they were when like they first launched.
Yeah. Like the 1950s, the fonts were all space age and everything.
Theirs just was not. That's why I was like, no, Ovaltine wasn't space age, but it was like a different font.
Yeah. It was like a 1950s font, like the Jetsons. The Jetsons.
No. But okay.
Their boy Elroy. Dun, 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 dun. You know?
That was a really good sound effect. You should be like, what's the guy from Revenge of the Nerds?
No, Police Academy.
Oh, Police Academy. Yeah.
And now the guy from Police Academy. Remember that office where Michael's bombing? Oh.
And then he's like, tough crowd, Dwight, tough crowd. As he like passes it off to Dwight. And then Dwight pretends he's like a dictator and everybody loves him.
I am such a fan of Ovaltine that I've tried it with everything. I would sprinkle it on vanilla ice cream.
You put everything on vanilla ice cream. You're like, I like to crush up walnuts and sprinkle it on vanilla ice cream.
Yes, I do. I blame my grandmother. She would always have vanilla ice cream. Sometimes a little.
We should pick one of her recipes to do. We have her little
pistachio
recipe.
ice cream. That was really good too.
Pistachio.
Yes, but Ovaltine. One time, I was at my grandmother's house. Probably 12 years old. I was there in the summertime, and the Ovaltine, for some reason, I think I had gotten milk in the.
Oh, like gross!
Yeah, and the next day it was like a little like it had melted all the Ovaltine crystals.
Well, of course, it would like turn into a lump.
Yes, it was a milky hard lump, but it didn't go sour or anything.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted the Ovaltine still, so I ate it the next day, even though it like kind of hardened up, and I had to like scrape it out of the.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've all done stuff like that.
Yeah, not like the whole thing was covered in milk, but the jar got some moisture in it, and it sucked that moisture up, and it made a lump instead of. And I was like, oh my god!
Did you pick it up like a softball and just?
Yeah, and I was like, I made a giant Whopper. I made a Whopper and put it in my mouth. It was pretty good. Yeah,
sounds unsanitary, but fine. You live to tell the tale.
Yeah, that's why I grew to a giant height of 5'10". Yeah.
I think we've told them, but if we haven't, a funny thing about Sean is so I met you were 30.
What isn't funny about me?
A lot of things aren't funny. 34 when I met you?
Yeah.
So I met Sean when he was 34. And a couple of years into dating, I had to teach him that you can't just cut mold off of things and eat them. That only works with cheese because mold, as I learned in biology, I think it was biology class, that the mold spore like grows into the entire whatever it is, and then it shows its boop. So once fruit. You see it, it's already in everything, so you have to throw it out. And he was like, "What? I just cut things off and eat it anyway." And I was like, "Absolutely not."
It's called the cheese method. And
then he would not believe me, as he always does when I try to tell him like Swiffers are really good or you can't eat things that have been moldy. I think it was your sister we called, but it might have been like your aunt or something. You asked them also. And when they confirmed, yes, Katie's correct, don't eat the mold, then you believed me.
No, you don't eat the mold. You cut everything off.
No, but you can't cut it off and then eat it.
I've since come to learn.
I know.
But
you do that sometimes where you won't believe me, and then you'll ask a random member of your family, and then when they also confirm it, then you're like, oh, yes.
Who needs family now that you have Google? You can fact check with Google. You don't need to call your family in Cincinnati, Ohio to find out
What's with the Cincinnati talk?
I haven't said anything about Cincinnati.
You sang the song at the beginning.
Oh.
We found a house in Ohio.
I know, we're moving. I posted it on Instagram. It's the most beautiful.
It's like this beautiful. It has an in-ground pool.
1909 was when this house was built.
So gorgeous.
Oh, we're revisiting a segment we used to do, the Zillow segment, Dream Houses. Yeah. But now I'm on Instagram, Cheap Old Houses. And boy, there are some amazing. There's an era when America was building with not plastic and stucco and.
Well, it's just different styles, right? And I think, like I was talking about earlier, retro's back in style.
It's always been in style.
And we I know, it's like classic stuff.
Classic Americana.
But it reminds me of like downtown where I grew up. There's a lot of those older homes that look like that too. And they were built in like the early 1900s. And I always just think that's just really pretty. I've always liked that. But those, I do know, buying a home that was built that long ago could come with a lot of problems.
Oh, one of the best wiring. Films ever is The Money Pit. Tom Hanks and Shelley Long. If you are in the
if you need a good giggle.
More than a good giggle. If you want to shit your pants laughing.
Sounds aggressive.
And you're like, you know what? Tonight I've been sad all week. On Friday, treat yourself to shitting your pants. And
everybody likes to treat themselves. No.
I got off work, I went home, I made myself
I put on my Depends and I watched The Money Pit. Jesus Christ.
All of Tom Hanks's early films are.
It's really funny though. Yeah. The Money Pit is good.
Yes.
Should we move on to emails and stories?
I think we should.
Is it time for the stories?
30 minutes in, roughly. Let me see here. How do I?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we got to change the course of this car or train or whatever.
No, it's time to switch gears.
Well, I think when I said the shit the pants part, you were like, okay, let's move on.
Yep, we've moved on.
Okay, here you go. There you go. Drums, please.
Summer, summer, summertime. I don't know how it starts other than that.
I think that's it. That's the whole song. Except for Summer Madness. That is Cool in the Gang? Or is it Earth, Wind? No, it's Cool in the Gang.
I don't know. I was thinking about Will Smith.
Yeah, but he sampled that, right? Which he made as the kids call a banger. That song is a real hit. Summertime.
It was a real hit.
I still listen to it.
Although it was weird when you pulled it up on YouTube the other day. I was like, wow, Will Smith has gotten so weird.
I don't know if he's gotten weird.
He's weird. Him and his wife Jada are fucking weird.
I think they're caught up in the trappings of being a mega celebrity. Can you imagine? So he's been famous since he was a kid, right?
I know, but I don't know. They're just weird. Like I've seen, Drew Barrymore's arguably been famous longer.
She's been famous since she was born.
Yeah. And I know she went through like drug and alcohol issues and
since she was born.
But what I'm saying is she's not weird. Like you see her in interviews and she's like a loving mom and she seems like a lovely person. I don't know if she is, but I've yet to hear anybody talk trash or say that she was an asshole. Like Ellen, we knew from years ago. We're like, yeah, Ellen's a dickwad.
She and Tom Green have recently been friendly again. He went on her show. Not that it matters.
She doesn't even have a show.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore?
No, Ellen.
Oh no, I'm talking about Drew Barrymore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Weren't they married briefly?
I think they were.
But anyway,
when he did.
Long story short is she's been married or been famous for a long time.
Right.
And she's a normal person.
I think so. But we only know how much is given to the public.
But that's
right?
so edited. And so if that's what we're seeing from Will and Jada, then they're fucking weirder than we can imagine.
I mean.
That's what you put out there?
I think that they're.
Have you seen that interview?
Listen, Will listens to the show, Katie. We can't.
Okay, let's move on to Marie. Marie has an email, and enough about that, but they're weird. When you pulled up that old music video for Summer, I was like, oh, he used to be so fun and normal, and now he's just weird. Will
Smith was so popular and cool when I was a kid. When he came out, this is before the show, when he came out with his first album with, what is it, Parents Just Don't Understand. And
that was when he was like doing Fresh Prince, right?
No, it's before that.
Oh, did that come out and then Fresh Prince happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's had many careers. But when he first started off...
careers. He's multifaceted. It's
as
like
a young person...
simultaneously.
It didn't, though. It came in phases. When we look back on history, it's compressed. But if you were there when it was happening, not that I was there, but like his music videos came out and he had 3 big hits. There was...
Okay. What's the point?
Well, there's no point.
You said he was super cool, and then now we're talking about and then it was compressed, and I'm like, what was the point of this?
It doesn't matter. Okay, let's get into the letters.
Are you moving on past Will Smith?
I'm never going to move on past Will Smith. I could always put that music on, and it takes him back to a certain time and place. But Will Smith was so cool back in the day that cousin PJ, who is not into hip hop at all, he would rock out to Will Smith's songs. He was so into.
Well, good music is good music.
That's right.
And Will Smith is talented. I'm not questioning his talent at all.
Some of it's not very good though. His hip hop, in the later years was not.
Well, I mean, a lot of people
Miami
are like
was
that.
a big hit though. I didn't like it,
but yeah, it was a big hit. But also I have to think too, when I'm getting older, as we do each and every day, if toward the end of their career, I don't enjoy the music anymore, I'm like, either A, they're not as talented as I thought they were, or they're losing some of it, or I'm just aging out of their demo. Because that happens too. Like I used to watch certain people on YouTube and then I've just aged out of it. Like I'm just not interested anymore.
Right. You're not playing Minecraft or Roblox anymore.
I never played any of those, but some people do. Well, also then Jenna Marbles, who I always thought was funny, quit. And that's sad. And so I don't watch that anymore.
She was so big that she aged out of YouTube altogether. She just moved into another stratosphere.
Peace
I don't know
out.
where she is now.
I don't know. And I haven't even...
XM? Sirius?
She had that series show. I haven't searched to find her, but I used to enjoy her videos.
She's probably taking a breather and being like, oh my God, the world is so nice not being on the internet.
Yeah. She was so nice when I met her and Julian in person. They're very nice and regular people, normal people. But
that was at the Maker Party. That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
no,
several
streamies.
parties.
They're streamies. Yeah, we've seen them quite a bit. And then we saw Julian at Playlist a couple times. Yeah. But the funny thing to me was my favorite of all of hers is her Ratchet Salon. She's.
I liked it when she shaved her eyebrows off. I felt.
Oh yeah.
I felt understood.
I always have loved the fact that she, at least through her videos, never seemed to
give a fuck.
Well, she just felt free to be herself. Mm-hmm. Her comedy was a representation of her, and I was on board for that. I thought that was so funny. It was like, right. And, one
of the first films I saw one of the first short films, like goofy videos she had done that I remember was her decorating her Christmas tree. Oh, and I fucking died laughing.
But isn't it drunk decoration or something? Yeah. Her and Max got like wasted and decorated the Christmas tree?
I think so. It was, I don't know. In hindsight, history is very compressed, so I don't know when that happened. History is very
compressed. It was like back when we first started our channel, so it'd be like maybe 2012. Like we've been doing it for.
It's a long time ago. It's what? It's like huge. 15 years ago now.
Like 9. Yeah. Anyway, Sean's history is very compressed. Anyway, what was I going to say about that? There was something else that I was going to say, but anyway, old YouTube I kind of miss. Oh, I know what it was.
Because what I'm talking about with history being compressed, like, what an overhead projector is in a classroom? And
like the old school ones, yeah.
Yeah, and you have the piece of plastic that you put on it and you mark that up.
Kids now just have computers.
Analog versus digital. Analog wins all the time.
Well, the kids these days will never know the pain of having to go up to the board and do the problem in math.
When I was your age, I had to go up to the front of the classroom.
No, but and
I would use chalk, and then I'd have to write the puzzle.
I'm not even talking about chalk. I'm talking about the vis-a-vis or whatever the little markers were that you could wipe off.
Oh, they'd be like, no, I'm talking
Katie,
about chalk.
You go up to the projector and you do the equation. And the teacher would have started the mathematical equation, and then you were supposed to work it out in front of the class.
When I was a kid, the teachers were allowed to beat us. And it's true. One time I had a teacher throw a chalkboard eraser at me.
Because I'm old. When I was younger.
Are you serious? I thought you were making a joke.
No, I'm serious. Teachers were like.
What?
Yeah,
Did you go to Catholic school?
Yeah. We had. One time I got the strap. And in hindsight, I probably deserved it.
This is child abuse.
Yeah. And so that was in elementary
Call the police.
School. But I think the principal got in trouble. No, it wasn't me who got the strap. It was someone in my class. And I remember it was like,
Jesus Christ.
But it was, I was at the tail end of that.
But I feel like you're not that old.
Teachers and principals were allowed to do that.
I feel like Quebec is like behind everybody else by 10 years. And then you're a little older than me. So you're like 20 years behind me.
I had a teacher in elementary school who used to smoke in class.
I know.
She wore leather pants.
So weird. French people are weird in Quebec.
I don't think it's weird. It was,
Smoking in class?
So when I ask you to wear leather pants and smoke cigarettes, Katie, it's not.
I always say no. I tell you to fucking talk to a therapist. No, I don't even think, and I'd have to ask my mom, but I don't even think teachers could smoke in classes when she was a kid in the States.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think Quebec is like this weird.
Progressive place.
I don't know if I'd call that progressive.
Freedom, baby.
You can beat and poison children simultaneously. No thanks. No thanks.
We grew up hard and fast on the streets in Montreal. No, that was in elementary school. I remember that happening. Nuts. And yeah, I don't have any more to say about that.
Okay.
I'll just have to edit that out. I was like,
it's okay. No, I guess it doesn't even fit in here anymore. I'll save it for another time. I was listening to a member of our community sent me a really cool video of this guy talking about like trash talking, and which I was kind of getting into with Jenna Marbles and canceling culture, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, we're going to move into Marie's letter.
Hello, Marie.
Hello, Marie. Why is the name Marie? I feel like there's like a joke or a movie, a character where they're like, hello, Marie.
There's something about Marie.
No. Anyway. Mary. It is entitled Roommates and Odd Names in Austria. We have so many Austrians. Guten Tag. No? I don't know.
Bonjour.
Moin.
Yeah. Try them all, Katie. Go through your Rolodexes.
I was talking to a member of our community who lives in Zurich, and I was like, so do you speak what's called High German? And she's like, I mean, yes, but our language is actually just German. She's like, we don't, like, most people just speak regular German. She's like, although we do speak High German, but, and I was like,
yeah, I don't know what the difference is. I think Chris Roner, Chris is Swiss. I think maybe he speaks High German. I don't know. I get confused by.
She said it depends on where you live within
Is it a more proper format of German? I don't even understand.
I don't think so. I think it's
Is it an older version?
I think it's a...
Or is it watered down?
I don't know.
Here's what I know. When I go to Europe, what I usually do is...
none of those languages.
I just go, hello. And it seems to work everywhere you go. Hello. Do you remember?
I remember.
Yeah.
Sean would do this every time we'd walk in somewhere.
You just throw that weird
like,
nondescript accent.
Hi. Guten Tag. You don't have to say anything. It's like hello, but with an accent.
If you were from mainland China coming to the United States, I would learn just a couple of words in perfect English.
Why?
Like howdy.
But you know what happens?
Can you imagine if someone didn't speak English at all, but they learned how to say, howdy, y'all?
I mean, it'd work to walk in somewhere like,
that's all you have to do.
That's all you got.
And do the finger guns. Howdy, y'all.
But the thing that's wrong with that, yes, it'd be hilarious. But because I speak some Spanish, it's honestly... Poquito español.
Más.
Necesito practicar mucho.
Sí.
So the fact that I speak a little bit, just enough to get myself into trouble, because if you start a conversation and it sounds proper, people start talking to you really quickly. Where I'm just like,
you nail the accent for the first two words, and then it's like going fishing. You throw the lure in the water. You're like, hello, and then they start rambling whatever language it is, and you go wide-eyed.
Well, then,
and then you have to like moonwalk out of the situation.
Then you have to then you're like, sorry, I don't speak Spanish that well, or French or German or whatever the fuck.
Español. No hablo.
No hablo.
No
is
it an O or an A on the end?
If you're talking about you,
yeah.
O. If you're talking about like them or us, to conjugate it differently. Hablar is like the
verb.
The verb, I guess.
To speak.
To speak.
Yeah.
I have to blow my schnoz.
Okay. We're going to pause right there, ladies and gentlemen. Or I could entertain you with more songs from sitcoms.
Okay. Into Marie's letter. Are we ready? She's been waiting long enough, I think. Since July 26th. We're getting so caught up. I'm so proud. Okay. Roommates and odd names in Austria. Hi, Sean and Katie. Hello, Marie. She says, my name is Marie. I'm 19 and I'm from Austria. I also have a roommate story I'd like to share. I'm excited. I love these. Let's get ready. Me. I started college last fall and moved from Carinthia, a state in Austria, to Graz for this. Okay, so to go to college. So I was looking for a shared apartment in Graz, and I could be saying that completely wrong. Graz.
Hello.
Moin. Okay. And unfortunately decided to move in with a man I didn't know at all. Marie. No. I already am very scared about this. I didn't know that he was over 30 when I moved in. Abort mission. Abort. Pack up your things. Move out. As I hadn't met him yet, and so we were not a great fit. Needless to say. Oh, I feel like I must sneeze. Do you know when you just feel it coming and you just have to wait? Oh, it passed. Okay. In the first few months, it was okay. As I tried to get to know, I'll start over. I'm sorry. I'm a mess. In the first few months, it was okay as I tried to get to know him a little bit, but we didn't have anything in common and spent little time together. But when my mental health started to get bad due to stress and loneliness, our living situation got worse. I'm so sorry. We both have our own rooms, but we share a kitchen and bathroom. Okay. So due to my depression and anxiety, I hid out in my room and rarely left it as I didn't want to see my roommate. That happens a lot. And I would even, I'd venture to say that almost all of us have had that situation, at least for a little bit of time, where you're fully awake and in your room, but you don't want to come out because you just don't want to talk to anybody right now. We've all been there. That's why you have your room. And why you have a lock on your door, hopefully, for safety. And Maria, I hope you had a lock on your door. This guy's way older than you. Okay. Do you remember the dilemma when your parents had guests over and you didn't want to meet them, but you were hungry? That's pretty much how I felt for the last few months, except with the guest being my roomie and the situation being permanent. Anyway, I was happy when he said he was going on holiday for 2 weeks in March, so I had the apartment to myself.
Cool.
But I wouldn't have been that pleased if I had known what would happen after. He came home after 1 month, which I found weird in the first place, as he didn't mention he was going to be away for that long. A few days after he came back, he announced that he had married. What? And had asked our landlord if his wife could move in with us.
Why ask the landlord first, you may?
What's with people? I have a crazy story.
What's the deal?
So My mom rents out like a separate apartment on her property to people. She's only rented out. Honestly, she started renting it out because they had a member of the family who needed some space to live for a little while because she was like moving out of her parents' home, couldn't afford an apartment in town. And so my mom like converted part of her house into an apartment. So anyway, my mom has been doing that. And when that girl moved out, another girl moved in. Now this girl went away to boot camp for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or I don't even know. I don't know how long people are at boot camp.
Well, when I went to boot camp, it was 3 weeks because I was so good at it. I was very fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 3 weeks. No, I think it was a few months anyway. She left her boyfriend. Obviously, they've been dating since high school. So I think they've been dating for like 6 or 7 years. Anyway, went to boot camp. And when she got out, due to COVID and some complications and weird shit that's not important, she couldn't come back right away. She had to like quarantine, and then the paperwork had to be processed so she could be like discharged or whatever. Because long story short, she has kidney stones, and so then she couldn't serve and do what she wanted, which was very disappointing and a kind of bummer for her.
The list of things that can prevent you from serving.
Yeah, who would have thought kidney stones?
Flat feet, kidney stones, and
bad
glasses.
eyesight. Yeah.
Anyway. Other than that, though, you're good to go. You can serve. But if
her boyfriend is
can't
waiting.
Run, you can't see, or it hurts when you pee. You can't serve in the military. It says it right on the sign when you go to.
If it hurts when you pee, you can't serve with me. That's the motto.
It's chlamydia.
See a urologist immediately. No. So anyway, while her boyfriend is waiting for her to for the paperwork to be processed and for her to be discharged, she apparently gets married to someone else. I don't even mean to laugh at this man's pain, but the whole situation is so ridiculous.
Oh, it's so sad for him. When I heard the story,
I was like,
so this guy moved in with her, but then she went to boot camp. He stayed in your mom's apartment, the little suite, and then he gets the letter.
No, it wasn't even a letter.
Oh.
She called her mom to tell her mom, and then her mom went to tell him, I believe. That's like worse than a Dear John letter. And her mom was pissed too because she was already, spoilers, engaged to this other dude, and her mom had already started planning the wedding.
This is why you don't get into long-term relationships when you're 19 or in high school.
Well, I say they were like 16 or whatever.
For life. And I know you think that
I know everything. I'm the smartest. You're not. I'm here to tell you, 16-year-old Katie is a goddamn idiot.
Well, Katie's been married 3 times already. That's okay though.
Always to you, but
yeah, the 4th time's a charm. Ties, feet times a matey. Once Buckwheat sings a song, it's eternally his.
Eternally his. If you guys don't know Buckwheat, you should look that up.
Eddie Murphy back in the day.
Eddie Murphy's so funny.
Boy, oh boy. Although I would assume that his material would be canceled now, and because it was politically incorrect.
That's what comedy's supposed to be. If you go to listen to a comedy show that's politically correct, that means you don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah,
you should just fuck
comedy
right
is the non-safe space, I think.
Yeah, non-safe space.
Yeah, everything's fair game in comedy.
You mean it's a safe space? Then it's like you just do whatever.
I don't know what the rules are.
I don't understand.
You put your left foot in, you take your right foot out,
and then you fall down because
because you're not a very good dancer.
You're doing the splits.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Okay, mister. Just rolling through your greatest hits. Anyway, she wasn't even gone 6 months.
Yeah.
And somehow met and married another person while simultaneously being engaged, knowing her family's like planning her wedding that was supposed to happen next spring or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that shit's crazy. How do people get married so quickly like that? We dated for 4 or 5 years before we got married?
5.
5? Yeah. Slow it down. Okay, so this guy, I only tell that story because it was crazy. And I was like, what is wrong with people? And to get married, sweet Jesus. I wish them all the best, but not starting off on a good foot.
So she's 19, engaged twice. This is her first marriage.
I don't think she's 19. I think she's like 22.
Oh, okay.
23.
Well, she's fine.
She might even be a little older, but still not good.
It won't last.
No.
I'm not saying that it won't because I don't know her, but I think that she probably just needs a little bit more time out. Wait till you're 30.
Well, and it's okay to not get married to your high school boyfriend.
Right. You can also get married at 22.
Date people. You don't have to get married to date someone else and break up with him. I don't know. Sometimes I think people hold themselves like in their own, they like build their own cages and then they're like, I can't do anything about this. And I'm like, well, you built it, so unbuild it.
Also, it could have something to do with how she's raised. We're like, hey, you're in a serious relationship. Where is this going? Are you going to get married or not?
I mean, I was raised in that and I was just like, fuck that shit. I do what I want. I'm stubborn and I don't listen. I mean, rebel's a strong word, but until I met you, I was like, I don't even know if I want to get married. Well, I don't know. Boys can be dickwads. And I also just was independent. I don't need no mans. I can do it all myself. I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. I even fried bacon yesterday, as a matter of fact. Okay. Moving on. Back into Marie's. Yeah. Sorry, Marie. I took a big detour.
Quite the tangent.
But it was because he got married. Like, he was gone for a month.
Oh, that's married. Right. That's right. Marie's roommate got married, came back. They asked the landlord.
Yep. Because so a few days after he came back, he announced that he had married.
Good.
Past tense. And had asked our landlord if his wife could move in with us. I don't think I have to mention that I was completely baffled. He did ask me later if it was okay that his wife was moving in, but being conflict avoidant and shy, it's not like I could have said no.
Marie, you should have said no and then made his wife sleep out in the hallway. That would have been...
Well, she still moved in. She'd have to sleep out on the porch.
Yeah. The hallway to the apartment is what I meant.
Oh, I see.
Then you have visiting hours. Like, well, your wife can come over, but she has to be out by 10 o'clock at night.
It's just so ridiculous and so rude. She moved in a few weeks after, and we had said hello, but didn't really talk much from the beginning. I tried to adjust to the new dynamic, but there was a problem. My roomie had never mentioned her name, and she didn't introduce herself to me with her name at first. That's the worst when you don't know someone's name.
Hey, you. Hey, pal.
I know. Hey, chief. And when I didn't know her name after 2 weeks, it got way too embarrassing to ask for. You got to wait for some mail to show up, I suppose. So I've been living with her for over 3 months now.
This is like a good sitcom. And
I still don't know who she is.
Hello.
Hi, wife.
Moin. Auf Wiedersehen.
Guten Tag. So I've been living with her. Okay. Needless to say, I find that situation embarrassing and haven't told anybody about it.
I think it's great. That's a good story that you're going to be able to. I think
this is a wonderful story. I still don't spend any time with them, but I can see that the two of them are compatible as they both love to have hour-long calls while having the door wide open, and they laugh a lot. That's just disrespectful. I guess I should be happy for them, but frankly, I find it mostly annoying. I would too.
At least he didn't turn out to be a creep.
Yeah, that's where the story was going.
I'm happy for you, Marie.
He just turned out to be apparently super desperate and willing to marry anybody quickly.
I mean, that sounds kind of like what happened, but I don't want to judge.
Maybe it's like an old girlfriend he rekindled a relationship with. I don't know. We'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt. We usually avoid each other, so every encounter is uncomfortable and weird. I
wonder if she knows your name, Marie.
I wonder.
Oh, I wonder if she is listening to another podcast. The roommate, we don't know what her name is, Stacy257. Mm-hmm. If she's listening to a podcast and she's writing into that podcast saying, there's craziest situation
that my husband and I moved in with.
Right. He tells me she's the housekeeper, but she does not.
She does not do any housekeeping. That's really funny. But I was trying to think of a clever way to it'd have to be the mail. That would be the easiest way. Get the mail because she's got to have something sent to the house, right? Mm-hmm. Because one time I tried, this is an embarrassing story.
Or you could rummage through their underwear drawer and look for their name on the underwear.
Nobody writes that, Sean. Only
I still
you.
Write.
There's no other man living in our house.
Steve, what the fuck is this?
I should do Katie? That. Write a wrong name in your underwear. Charles. Oh. Anyway, one time I didn't know someone's name. I'd forgotten it, but I'd met them like many, many times. And they were like, oh yeah, well, just, I forget what they'd said. Something about like, call me, text me, whatever. And they were writing their number down or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll just put it in my phone. And I was like, how do you spell your first name again? I forget. And it was Sarah. But luckily it had an H on it. And I was like, oh, I couldn't remember if I had an H or not. And she was like, oh, people always mess that up. And I was like, you're so smooth, Katie.
And how do you spell your name again?
And they're like, Tina, T-I-N.
Oh, I thought it was T-I-N-A-H. So I thought there was an H on the end of it.
No,
Tina.
I could have said like, I didn't know if you went by Christina or, I mean, I don't know. Fuck, man.
You're quick on your toes.
Dig yourself in a hole. You gotta. I know, like in the comic. Okay. So Where are we at? We usually avoid each other, so every encounter is uncomfortable and weird. Luckily, I have found a new and much nicer apartment and am going to share with a friend of mine and another nice girl, which means that I'm already out of here when you were reading this and have only 1 week left now.
You know what, though,
So
Marie?
who cares what her name is?
I think what you should do, don't give a shit about those people. But take that trick that you learned from the first apartment. So you need to find someone, get married, and then move in.
And don't introduce them. Yeah. No, she likes
just to keep it spicy.
It's a nice girl, so it should be with somebody your own age.
Oh, okay.
And I realized why Marie was making me laugh. Concierge Marie. Oh. When you said Marie, I was like, oh, Concierge Marie. Okay. From The Office, if you don't know. Okay, and guess what? I already know their names.
Oh, perfect.
She's already one step ahead. Look at that. I listened to the 73rd episode of your podcast yesterday, and even though I don't really know anybody with an odd name, I have something that I'd like to add. In Austria and Germany as well, the name you choose for your child has to be approved by the county clerk's office. What the fuck? So really odd names are not as common here as in America. I do know an older guy, though, who was called Trugott or Traugott, which basically means trust God. So I guess that's kind of a weird name.
Yeah.
I can't believe they have to approve names. That sounds some like weird.
I think it's so you don't name your kid Adolf or something like that. You know, they do that here in the United States. I know for a fact, like you can't name, after terrible people from history. You can't
be like, his name's Osama.
Yeah.
And you're like, absolutely.
His name is Genghis Khan. He's a little testy. You don't want to.
Yeah, don't fuck
But we
with
put him in horseback riding lessons. So,
immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What if I want to name my child Lampshade?
Popsicle stick.
I should be able to. God damn it, it's my child. I birthed them. They're my part of me.
It's probably just to avoid naming someone a really offensive name, or something. But like, God damn it, get in here, or whatever your name is.
Name him Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, Jesus is a name that people do name.
It's true. A lot in the Latino culture, I think we call it Latino, like a lot of South America, Mexico, things like that. Jesus is very common.
Yep. My friend, and I think it's because it's a tribute name, like tribute to God.
They're very Catholic usually.
But my friend Karen Rossi, who is from Puerto Rico, she introduced me to a whole new realm of names, which I was unaware of.
Like what?
And one of them was Usmail.
What's that?
U.S. mail. U.S. and M-A-I-L.
Yeah. I've heard Usmail, but why would they call it U.S. mail?
I think just because it was, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's like a tribute to, wow, we're part of the United States. Sort of.
Oh, maybe.
I could be
wrong. Is that
what
she said?
Yeah. It's been a long time. So if you know anyone named Usmail, if you're from Puerto Rico, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that's the case. So sometimes you name kids odd names, but you just wouldn't want to name them something offensive because that's going to haunt the kid for the rest of their life.
Well, in general, making a name too strange just sets your child up for failure.
Like if your name was Dipshit,
I know.
maybe the name suits you, but you don't want the kid growing into the name.
Maybe you are a dickwad, but we don't really want everybody calling you that.
Yeah.
And you can't go to school.
You don't want to start life off on the wrong foot. You want to give them the best start in life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gwyneth Paltrow should have named her child Apple.
Yeah, and you shouldn't name your kid Genghis Khan,
Fair. Okay. So we have the one that basically means trust God. But it's a weird name, but it's really old as well. So it might be like grandfathered in. Maybe those laws didn't exist until people got real weird. During my research around this topic, I stumbled across the name. Okay, you guys, it's German. Bear with me. If we're playing that game
Glockenspiel
that David Redacted put together. We're checking a lot of those boxes.
I'll make it really quick. If you are in the Discord server, the link is in the description below if you aren't. But if you are in the Discord server, David, who is the Prime Minister of OTGM Landia or whatever this nation is called.
I think that's what it's called.
He has put together the national board game, which is Bingo. And there's a bingo card for the next 5 episodes. So you can play along.
Fun.
And I haven't looked at it yet because I didn't want to taint our conversation.
Oh, yeah, because we can't be, I don't know. We don't want to taint it or.
So I looked at it real quick and I looked away.
So you did look.
But I didn't see the categories. I just saw that there was a bingo board or score sheet or however bingo works. Yeah.
Okay.
Play along.
How fun. I love it. Okay. So this is all German, which I'm sure this is in there. Me trying to. I'm going to mumble to myself like that dog. Okay. Frieden mit Gott allen durch Jesus Christus, which translates to peace with God only through Jesus Christ. This name was not approved by the authorities. And because of names like that, I am all for the rules regarding name giving here. Basically, you can't name your child after objects or stuff like that. And the name isn't allowed to be detrimental to the child's well-being. Very reasonable.
Makes sense.
I agree. A surname can't be the name of a town or of a brand, and fantasy names in general are not allowed. This way, names like
Ovaltina.
No, the first one she offers is Elon Musk's kid, like XYZZ, XC, and Ron, Umlaut.
Umlaut?
I'm just making things up, you guys. It's actually
That's not a bad name if your name was Umlaut.
XAEX-XII. The name of one of Elon Musk's kids are not a thing here. Thank God. Because how are you going to call roll call as a teacher?
It makes it very difficult.
And be like, Exia. Hopefully I'm that child's
D-Nice?
teacher.
Is there a D-Nice here?
It's Denise. D-Nice. Okay. So, thank God. I think this is good, as children are probably not bullied as much for their names in Austria and Germany. True. Also, yes, the flag that was sent to you is, in fact, the Austrian flag. It was from Christoph. I was going to say thank you. Danke. I had to think for a second. Right?
Dankeschön.
Darling, Dankeschön. Also, I wanted to attach the Corinthian flag. I think I'm saying that right. And the German flag, as I was born in Germany and raised both there and in Carinthia. Germany.
Cool.
Beautiful.
What's on the Corinthian flag?
It looks like a
bicycle.
It's the three dogs that like.
No, those are lions.
Lions?
No, I don't think they put dogs on the flag. It's a
In
Chihuahua.
OTDM land, we'll have a dog on our flag.
Right. What kind of dog are we going to have on our flag?
Maybe a pit bull or a Bernese mountain dog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bernese mountain dog for sure. Just their paws.
Oh, what are their paws going to be holding?
Pencils.
Is that our biggest
It's
export?
a smart dog. Yeah, it's our export. We make pencils. I know pencils are going away, but they're important. We should never get rid of pencils.
Okay.
In our nation, pencils are important. What happens if the computers go down, you may ask? What if the electricity is wiped out? We need to be able to write down these.
Where, on the walls?
On the paper.
Oh, we're going to paper too.
Oh, yeah. Put that on the flag too. A piece of paper.
Don't do it. Come up with something better. Okay. I originally planned to share 2 additional stories with you in this email, but I have already written way too much. No, you didn't. This was wonderful. Feel free to send more. So let me know if you would like to hear my stories about a tortoise in Corsica and a mysterious ball I once found in my garden. I would definitely want to hear about those.
Both those are good teasers.
Please send them over. I think you would especially enjoy the second story, Katie, as you love to be a detective. I do.
The mysterious ball in the garden.
Best wishes from Graz, Marie. P.S. I just noticed that you could have made a drinking game out of this mail. Just drink a shot every time I say name, and you'll be drunk before you know it.
We don't endorse that in this show. That's not... Marie,
that's hilarious.
I was with you the whole way until...
Oh, jeez. Remember we joked about the drinking game of for Criminal Minds, where if you took a drink every time they said unsub, you'd be like wasted by 5 minutes in?
I don't know why they don't get called out on that show for that.
Maybe they do.
Every 10th word is unsub.
Unsub. Mm-hmm. Why don't they every once in a while switch it up and say something?
What does it mean? Unsub.
I think it's like the unidentified subject. I think, but I don't know.
Suspect.
Suspect?
No, that would be unsus.
We'll start our own. We'll just say unsus a lot. Okay.
It's very sus, as the kids
say. Super
say.
sus. I know the kids do say that. Some of the things the kids say the darndest things these days. Some of the things I find very funny. Yeah. Other things I'm like, you sound stupid, and that will fade. But we all do those things, so I don't judge. But TikTok, it keeps me somewhat cool, or at least aware of the trends, but I don't participate. So I'm therefore not trendy anymore. That's
one of the privileges of getting older, is you don't have to be trendy. You can just do whatever you want. And then you come to find out the people who are doing whatever they wanted when they were younger are actually the cool ones.
The trendsetter. Yeah, they are the cool ones. It's true. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I could care less. Okay.
Well, thank you, Marie. It was a pleasure hearing from you. That was
wonderful.
Corsican Marie?
Graz.
Her name is Graz? No, it's Marie.
No, she's from Graz.
From Graz.
She moved to Graz.
In
from
Corsica. Or she moved from Corsica.
Different states.
Okay.
She moved from one state.
Born in Germany. Lived in Toronto.
Austria.
Okay, which is next to New Zealand. Corsica, which is an island in the Mediterranean near Italy.
Sean has no idea what he's talking about.
This person's very sus.
Sean, moving on to Ashley's email.
Okay.
Hi, Ashley. Okay. It's entitled, Poor Kid, Terrible Name. These are getting so good. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Katie and Sean. Regarding people naming their kids terrible bully bait things. That's a good way to call it. Bully bait.
Oh.
You're bully baiting them. Zzz. Yeah. There's one I'll never forget. Actually, two. But only one that I heard firsthand. I went to a baseball game a few years back, and before the game started, they had a Kids Take the Field segment. And that's when the announcer said, and on third base, Teddy Bear. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
You gotta take that kid's parents' rights away.
Yeah, right? As if life isn't hard enough, this kid has a roll up to school every day named Teddy Bear. I wanted to smack the parents.
I mean, it's cool
too.
if your name was shortened to Teddy. That's cool. Like Theodore, Teddy, that's cool. But Teddy Bear.
Yeah. Like if your last name is Bear, I think the last thing you name your child is Teddy. Like, so original. Shut the fuck up. You shouldn't have children. What's wrong with you? You don't agree?
I'm going to pass.
Okay. The second name came via a friend of the family who is a substitute teacher, and it made me so sad. This kid's name was Shithead.
No.
Pronounced Shatid. I'm not sure how that one's legal. So it's
Was it really spelt that way?
Yeah, but it's pronounced Shatid.
Maybe in a different culture.
Yeah,
Shithead. My name is Shithead. I'm from... Where are you from exactly? A little town somewhere down like about 30 miles from here. Shithead is how they say.
Shithead. That reminds me of, what's it called? Where the guy gets, he's part of the mob in New York, and then he gets like a new identity and is moved to what's it called? Not for Lefto. I keep thinking that, but it's not that.
Oh, yeah. The mobster.
Yeah. He goes into
Lillehammer.
I was like, he goes into like witness protection.
I'm almost as fast as Google. Did you see that?
I did.
I returned one query.
I popped out the information. But remember his wife or girlfriend at the time is having those twins, and she wants to name them like Osfart or something.
No. But it's something.
Something bad. And he's like, in my language, that's not. So maybe that's what this is. It's like,
yeah.
Maybe they're from
I hope they don't speak
Lillehammer.
English and they name their kid Shithead, because that's just not right.
No. Yeah, she's like, I'm still not sure how that one's legal. Me neither. I feel like I should end on something more positive. So I want to congratulate you again on Traumatized, my new book that's out, being completed and coming out soon. That is so exciting. I'll be ordering as soon as I figure out if I'm going with the regular book or the audio version. I'm sure poor little Teddy Bear and Shithead will be ordering too.
Oh, speaking of which, you
Cheers,
recorded...
Ashley. Oh yeah, that's what this, if you're watching this, I'm wearing a shirt that says Pony Sound because the gentleman who owns Pony Sound, this is where I recorded my audiobook. And when I was finished, he was like, I got a mug and a shirt for you and your husband. He was so nice. And
it reminds me, their logo reminds me of Titus Welliver's TV show, Bosch. You know how
like the reflection?
The reflection, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Austin reflective.
It's the Austin city skyline. It was very sweet. Everybody's so nice here. And it was also, he works hard. When you do an audiobook, you're working really hard and they're so appreciative that you are working hard. Cause I guess some people don't and are like total dickheads about it, but they're also working hard because he's the one in the booth. Like as I pause or go and come back to say something again, he has to make the marks so that the editor can take it and like turn it into a proper audiobook. So Pony Sound. Okay. We have, we have some information from Ben.
Oh, okay. Hey,
our
Ben.
technological liaison.
What is up, Ben?
Ben says, fun English tongue twister.
Yes, sir.
I'm already scared. I got to slippy, slappy, sloppy. I got to get my... Get warmed up. Dear Katie and Sean, on episode 73, you worked through some fun Finnish tongue twisters. I thought I would share my favorite one. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Basically, it plays... Did I say it wrong or something? No. Basically, it plays on 3 English words: Buffalo, the city of New York, Buffalo, the animal, and buffalo, meaning to intimidate. Buffalo is to intimidate.
Well, they are intimidating. One time I saw a buffalo and I was very intimidated.
When would you see a buffalo?
Traveling across the plains.
So I was like, when were you in Wyoming?
You know, that one time I drove across the country.
Oh my God, that reminds
me. I
me.
saw them and they're very intimidating.
Well, they're huge animals.
They're huge. And there's buffalo and there's bison. I think they're 2 different.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
There's something in here about that.
Oh.
Basically, it plays on 3 English words. I told you that. An easier to understand version of the sentence is New York bison, that other New York bison, bully, also bully New York bison.
Oh, that's the tongue twister.
New York bison, that other New York bison, bully, also bully New York bison.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to try that.
Thanks for all you do, Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, so buffalo was, he was saying this is what the core of it is, but the real tongue twister, say it one more time.
On 3. Okay. New York bison, that other New York bison, bully, also bully New York bison. I'm pretty good at it.
You're very good.
That one is easier for me.
You're a pro.
I'm a pro. I just did an audiobook. I'm all warmed up. No, but speaking of the planes and driving across.
Yeah.
Our friends, Lauren and Adam, wanted us to go out to Marfa to meet up with them at Big Bend, which is like one of the national parks, but it's so hot. And I had to do my audiobook because that was supposed to be last weekend. And so we couldn't. But I was kind of jealous that we didn't go on this trip with them. Not that they invited us on the full trip. They did not. And I'm not mad about it. But they drove through. Also, we don't have the time. So if they invited us, I'd be like, I love you, but I'm sorry. But they flew into Colorado to see, I think it was a friend's restaurant that was opening there. So they went to like support and go, and a group of them, there were like 6 of them that went. And then they drove from Colorado through New Mexico and went to, I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's something wolf, like White Wolf or something. It's like an art installation is the best way I can describe it, where like the neon lights and she showed Adam going it was like a slide through a dryer.
Oh, I did.
You know what I'm saying? It's like visually very interesting.
So a clothes dryer, you walk up to it, you open the door.
And you slide through it because it's all lit up.
And then you have to crawl into the dryer and then slide down to, I don't know where he went after that. But I saw that clip and I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah, Linnea's done it too with the kids. It looks very cool. It's called Wolf, so I could probably pull it up on her thing, but I'll do that. Anyway, but then they also went to the White Sands National Park in New Mexico. And I asked a member of our community who grew up in New Mexico, and she was like, that place is awesome. You should definitely go. And anyway, I was just very jealous because I really wanted to do those things.
One of the most spectacular things about living in North America is the variety.
Oh, she didn't put it in her main feed. It was only her stories. And
it's gone.
Yeah.
Ephemera.
It's ephemera. Yeah.
Ephemeral.
I'm going to look it up.
Ephemeral artery.
Ephemeral artery.
It's not. They're not related. Okay.
But anyway, so I really wanted to do those things, to travel and to drive around and, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't find
so many pretty places to see. Not enough time.
Not enough time.
Not enough time. I was looking at driving to New Orleans from here. Yeah. It's only like 6 hours or 7 hours.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I looked it up, depending on traffic.
Sean's never been to New Orleans.
I have not. I'm looking forward to it. When I was a kid, my grandparents used to go quite a bit.
Didn't they have a friend there?
No. Well, yes, but how close friend? There was a jazz musician that my grandfather really liked.
Yes, that's what it was.
Pete Fontaine. Pete Fontaine.
Fontaine. I assume because he's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
You gotta start talking like you're from Louisiana.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking like I'm from Louisiana.
Moin. Walk into Louisiana.
Hello.
Good look. But no, Pete Fontaine had a jazz club. He was a jazz recording artist, and he also had a club. I think that's what jazz musicians do. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways.
I don't know. There's some really cool small clubs there where it only seats. Like this one I went to was like a curved, it's just a slip out of like a bottom of a hotel.
Yeah.
And there were only like, let's say 12 or 15 seats at the bar, and that was it.
Oh.
And it was so cool. And they were like in the corner. The way that was set up was like, I don't know, kind of like a C with like a big, like, I don't know, kind of bowl part at the end where the musicians were. And the music, the way it reverberated in that place was fucking beautiful. We'll have to go. I'll have to find out where that was because the guy I used to work with, Jack, was the one that told us where to go and what to do. And we were just like, okay. Joanna and I just went along. So I have no idea.
Okay.
But it was amazing. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, sure.
And thanks, Ben. I hope I made you proud with my tongue twisting abilities.
Ben, just a quick question. I'm going to throw it back to you here. I'm curious about what your thoughts are with SpaceX and the Starship and all this fun stuff. And
I don't know anything about any of that.
Really?
Why would I know anything about any of that?
Elon has set up a spaceport here in Texas.
Oh, is that what he was walking around the other day?
Yeah, there was a 3-part series. If you're interested in knowing what's going on, we're living in a fantastic time, by the way. If there were major technological advancements or developments, but it was being broadcast in real time, even 20 years ago, but let's say 100 years ago, like imagine Ford touring the Ford plant, and then the people get it right away, as opposed to like news clips or whatnot. Elon Musk just did like a 1-hour tour of his spaceport. It was so cool to see like the manufacturing process, and in real time they were troubleshooting some of the engineering problems that they were having, or not problems, but
it was just like issues they're running into as you learn how to do something. Right?
Yeah, and the filter isn't there, right? There's no PR rep. He after he did the interview, he tweeted out, I think the next day, to the guy who had done the video or whatever. He said, "Hey, listen, sorry, I was running on just a small amount of sleep. I wasn't particularly focused." They didn't edit out all the rougher parts of the video, much like this podcast. And so
I kind of like that.
I love it.
The one thing I don't, this is maybe again another unpopular opinion, but I don't think Elon Musk is a bad guy. I think he's a good guy. I think he like obviously is on like a totally different plane than I am in the way that he thinks and what he does, but he always seems super nice to people. He makes time for people. Like, who the fuck has hours, especially him, in their schedule to like walk around his plant
with a
guy from YouTube?
Which not taking away from his channel.
We're YouTubers too.
But this guy's running like 5 major corporations, and yet he takes the time to, he's just trying to share the information with people. I don't think there's an ulterior motive.
I don't think there is.
He's
either.
trying to maybe share that like this is a difficult process, but warts and all, they're showing you, this process, and it's really fascinating. And
why would you say warts and all?
It's a saying.
Oh, I've never heard it before.
Yeah, like you show, the ugly parts with the good parts.
You had to say blemishes and all, maybe? I don't know. Never heard warts and all.
Never heard blemishes and all, but warts and all is a saying.
I don't say any of those things. I'm just saying you would just say they don't cut any of it out.
That's right. They just leave it all, and you sort through it. And I think that's a very. Anyways, Ben, I was just interested in your take on things. What do you think?
Sean's very excited. I spaced out. It was way too long. That video was way too long.
I thought it was fantastic.
Also, I was like, I live here too, and it's fucking hot right now, and I don't know how you're walking around.
But to get that sort of insight into, I think, probably one of the more interesting humans on the planet, to get insight into how he's thinking, and it wasn't edited. It was wonderful.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, sure.
We have one of our staff writers here.
Yes.
Christoph.
I think they're all staff writers at this point.
They are pretty much.
But Christoph, OG staff writer from Australia. Go ahead.
He sent us the Austrian flag. So
I know. I don't know why a man from Australia would send us an Australian or an Austrian flag. It's kind of...
He sent us a video. You know how he sounds. He's
like an Australian. G'day, mate.
Oh my God. I apologize, Christoph, on behalf of Sean. Okay. The subject line of the email says, origins of coffee, flags, I am unemployed but ordered new guitars, balloons, and other thoughts.
Sounds wonderful. Let's get into it.
Let's dive into it. Hi, Katie. Hi, Sean. And dear OTDM friends and followers. One thing I accumulated enough during my life is useless knowledge. Join the club.
Yeah.
And so I know the origins of coffee. According to a legend, approximately 1,000 years ago, some herders in Eastern Africa in a region called Kaffa, no joke, like Kaffa, like
caffeinated,
almost Kaffa or coffee, it's very close, realized that some goats were really energized because goats eat everything, and found that this happened after they ate this strange fruit.
Oh.
So they started to cultivate it. And here also the name originates. Although the name is Arabic and stands originally for a kind of wine, real historical evidence for coffee is from the 15th century in today's Yemen. Okay, interesting. Where they also invented the roasting and brewing. I didn't know that coffee came from Yemen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Whenever I think of Yemen, I always think of Friends when Chandler's trying to ditch, what's her name? that's like really loud.
Janice.
And he's like, I got a job in Yemen. And she's like, it's back in the day when you could walk someone to the gate at the airport. And she's like, he thinks she's going to drop him at the airport. She's like, I'll walk in with you or whatever. And he's like, fuck.
I'll walk you to the gate.
And so then he walks up and he's like, I'll take a one-way ticket to Yemen. And they're like, that'll be $1,500 or something. He's like, fuck, buys a ticket. And then he like gets on the plane and goes to Yemen.
Desperate to get out of the relationship, he actually gets on the plane.
Does
he get on the plane? Or does he just...
I don't know. I'd have to look into it. I don't remember.
He was committed to the lie he told.
He was. And I think he gets on and flies away.
In his defense, Janice was really terrible, right?
But he was like in love with her. But she
was pretty annoying.
Because then he like got back with her, and I mean it was just on and off.
Oh, Christoph, did you know that Jennifer Aniston and
Why are you telling Christoph?
Ross Geller are they're dating in real life?
No.
Yeah.
That's not true. Really?
Yeah. What's his name? Matthew Broderick? No.
No, it was I was gonna look up, does Chandler fly to Yemen? Oh my God.
Just use Google. Okay, Google, does Chandler...
You turned it off, didn't you?
No.
Here's the definition of Chandler: a dealer in supplies and equipment for ships and boats.
Okay, Google, stop. Yes, he flew to Yemen. He went all the way. He tried getting off the plane once, but it didn't work. So he realized the only way to do it, that's what I thought he tried to get off. Like, okay. It was before out takeoff, and he's like, I have to leave. And they're like, sorry, sir, we've closed the gate. And so he goes all the way. Okay. And then Ross in Friends, actor. Okay. His name is
Ben Affleck.
David Schwimmer.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Affleck. Jesus Christ, Sean.
I know.
You're so bad at this game.
Okay, so I think they're dating in real life.
I didn't look that up.
I think they rekindled that. They had feelings.
I don't think they ever had feelings
on the new recording of the new version of the show. Did they just release a new season of that? What happened?
They had like like one show or something, maybe like a movie type of thing. I don't know, a special. I think it was special. It says Friends stars Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer dating months after admitting crush on each other report. And this is August 10th of 2021. Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer are rumored to be dating, and fans are struggling to contain their emotions.
What's that?
So
they broke up. Okay. It didn't last very long.
Of course not. The Friends co-stars openly profess their secret feelings for one another during Friends, the reunion. So that would be what the show was.
But what's weird is that they announced that, and then I think like the next day she posted a photo of her ex-husband with his shirt off on Instagram. Not that I follow gossip, but...
Clearly you do, because I didn't hear anything about this.
Well, for some reason, I think Instagram wants everyone to... I don't know if there's some sort of deal with like
both
celebrities.
Their reps denied that they were dating. Not that they would definitely ever say that they were. All that they have is their proof, quote unquote proof, is that they... were seen at a winery walking around.
Definitely dating. We can go to a winery, you know.
But if you've like been friends for like 40 years.
I know, exactly. Like the gossip machine.
Yeah. But they could be
shouldn't
dating.
Spread rumors like that, Christoph.
Sean, Jesus Christ. What's with all of your snarkiness today? Okay. Back into coffee and Yemen. Okay. In today's Yemen, where they also invented the roasting and brewing just as we know it today. And I'm still convinced that the Italians make the best coffee. And I even got a new espresso machine for the new kitchen and Italian coffee beans for my birthday. Well, yay. And by the way, coffee is the second most traded good in the world after oil. I believe it.
We're all drug addicts.
Just coffee drug
Get
addicts.
up in the morning, you're like, hey, I'm so tired. I just need my coffee, you know?
I don't really feel like I need my coffee. I like the flavor of it.
But caffeine is a drug.
Oh, 100%. But I don't, if we are like doing something, I don't get coffee, like I don't have a meltdown and I don't have like a crash or anything.
Yeah, I never get headaches or anything by not having coffee.
Well, I don't know about you. I don't think you have much more, but I only have like 1 or 2 cups a day.
Yeah. So, I can't do more than that.
Well,
I get pretty jittery.
I get jittery, especially if I haven't eaten.
Yeah,
I can't
and that
drink
Graham coffee.
Oh yeah, Graham gave us some like express.
That was pretty
takes
intense.
you all the way to the moon.
I'm still
but I have to. Well, I haven't been to Italy to have it from the source, Christoph. But I also have a belief that there is the best coffee in the world, and I think it's Australian. That was the best coffee. It's creamy, no matter where we got it. It was delicious.
Delicious.
Although there was that one place in Melbourne that had like the chairs on the roof that was so yummy.
Right. And that's high praise coming from the Pacific Northwest where everyone is on coffee.
Wait, from birth.
Yeah.
Coffee in the bottle.
Yeah.
No, when I was a kid, I think I've told you guys this. My grandma would go, because we have those little drive-up coffee stands that we've talked about, and she would get half a shot of coffee in like, it's pretty much a milkshake, but it would be like a mocha frappuccino.
Wait, Christoph is from Vienna, and I would assume Vienna is world famous for chocolate and coffee, right?
Potentially, but he says Italy's best.
So that's high praise.
He's just as legit, you know?
That's right.
But again, I haven't been to Italy, so now I even more want to go to Italy. Man, I miss traveling. It's so depressing. I can't handle this.
You just have to go to Vegas because Vegas has all this in one place.
No,
they got Paris, they got Italy.
It definitely.
Why go to the real one when you can go to a new version of it? And they've got machines go bing, 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 you know, when you're walking through it.
I do not enjoy Vegas.
What's wrong with going through a fake Eiffel Tower?
A lot of people love it.
Bing, 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 bing,
no hate. A lot of people love Vegas and want to go every year. I just personally hate it.
Yeah. The only thing that's good about Vegas.
Well, our friend Kim and Ben live there.
That's probably the best thing for us.
I don't like going to the Strip. I like good food and good shows, and they have that.
It all exists in Vegas. That's what I'm going to say is the gambling aside.
Yeah, and the casinos and like having to walk 7 miles to get somewhere.
They are kind of fun. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you had to park over here. See, but neither of us gamble, which is kind of funny. I think we just like the atmosphere.
I like to see.
I don't like the smoke though.
It's like walking through a mouse trap, you know, like you're walking through this thing that like every turn is going to get you. It's going to get your money, you know. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend my money. Every once in a while, I'll spend like $5.
I've never gambled my own money ever.
It. One time I gambled $20 and I did not have $20 to my name. And that was the last time I gambled, like seriously. That's like...
But it's all relative to what you have, right?
I had nothing and I gambled $20 and I was like...
And you lost it?
Can I have my $20 back,
like, wait,
please?
This is a
and they're like...
Wait.
And the pit boss grabbed me and they threw me out on the street.
Now Sean's just lying.
Get out of here.
I doubt it was even a pit boss because $20 is not that much. Sean's like at the nickel, the nickel machines. Wait. Oh, wait.
No, but I don't like gambling at all. I never had a problem with it.
I mean, either, thank God.
It does not do it for me. But I do like walking around a casino just for seeing like the extent that humans will go to entertain someone else, to extract money is amazing.
The marketing
Vegas
machine is strong.
Yeah. And apparently Vegas isn't even the biggest casino environment. What is it? Macau?
Yeah, Macau.
Macau is Sin City.
Does Dubai have that too or no? I know Dubai.
No, I don't think they allow gambling in.
Because Macau is like their Sin City, right? Where all the people from those cultures go.
Macau
because they try to pretend, I don't do it, but I'm going to fly to Macau.
Macau is China.
Tell everybody I'm going to London.
Right.
But I
lie.
I find that stuff so funny when people. I think that's why I think religions are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The repression. And it's like that diet mentality. You can't have it, can't drink, can't have sex, don't cuss, no gambling. And then what do people do? They go fucking nuts and like go to Macau. Like people lose their minds. I remember I had this Lyft driver years ago in LA. He recently immigrated from, I want to say Saudi Arabia. I might be wrong, but somewhere in the Middle East. And he was talking about this with me. I think it was when I was going like to the east side of LA. So it was a long ride. Or were you in the car with me? I forget. Anyway. We're in with a Lyft driver.
It's like the east side of LA. Try driving all the way to the Middle East, you know?
No, but I'm like, maybe he was our driver when we were in the Bay. I can't remember. But anyway, this Lyft driver was talking to us about how ridiculous he thought it was because people come to the States from there to visit and like lose their minds.
Right.
Like, and he goes, it's only because we're always told from a young age that like you can't enjoy anything.
Das ist verboten.
Mm-hmm, exactly. It's forbidden. And I think that forbidden is like that diet mentality where you're like, can't have fried food. Guess what you fucking think about all day long? Fucking fried food.
Next you know, you're in the Garden of Eden, eating an apple, you know, and then screwing everything up for everyone else down the line.
Not screwing everything else up.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that at all.
Okay, let's go on back.
I like how they try to blame it on the woman. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Sorry, Christoph. We got off on a tangent. As you correctly deduced in OTDM 73, the Austrian flag is a gift from me.
Ah.
What would be Danke? It keeps taking me a minute. Donk of shame. The idea behind it is that every staff writer should send a small flag from his or her home country or state until your podcast table looks like the United Nations.
Oh,
LOL.
I like this.
That would be very cool. We'll have to get like a stand to hold them. And where did our thing go on the floor?
Oh, it was over there because
she's right here. Yeah, I see her.
Moving things around.
She's holding her flag. Okay. I got the idea from the map of staff writers on the Discord server, which I visit way too rarely. So, fellow staff writers, go ahead, flood Katie's mailbox with your flags and make Jeff Bezos happy by ordering them all on Amazon. Right? So he can stay longer in space next time. Just shoot him off in his giant dick to the skies. As I am writing this, I started my unemployment. I know, we knew this was coming. But at least I got my severance payment from the old company. That's awesome. Now I am at least debt-free and already ordered 2 new guitars.
Sweet.
And cannot wait until they arrive. That's awesome. And congratulations for that. You know, I'm glad you have that kind of package so that you are able to buy the guitars you've been wanting, to pay off debt. Nothing feels better than being debt-free. We were debt-free for a little period of time before we bought the house. We were like, you know, the sky. Okay.
The banker said, not so fast.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I tethered my leg to it.
So in the next letter, I will hopefully be able to add some photos of them.
Yeah. Oh, so you haven't taken possession of the guitars yet?
He just ordered them. They'll arrive soon.
What a tease.
And I'm pretty confident that I won't be unemployed for a long time, as I do have job interviews scheduled in August, especially one where I think the job description fits perfectly for me. That's awesome.
Cool guy wanted.
I will keep you posted on this as well. Hopefully we have another email, because this was sent July 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. That's awesome, dude.
About the balloons. Oh, I was like, balloons. It was in the subject line.
Yes.
Balloons. I am not a physician and math is not my strong point, but people have successfully tried to fly with a bunch of balloons. Remember we were talking about like how much would it take for you to like, but as far as I remember, the landing was not that pleasant. I would assume not. Maybe put yourself in one of those big inflatable ball things.
Have I told you the story about going up in a hot air balloon?
No.
I went up in a hot air balloon.
Period. End of story.
But it was fun. You know, you go up early in the morning.
I'll kill her. Who was it? I do murder. No guy goes in a hot air balloon on their own.
It's awesome. Like there's a giant flamethrower. Like this is a pretty
that's
intense.
How hot. Hence the hot air.
Yeah, but until you, they pull it, and then the thing goes up, and
they have them in New Mexico. Over my brother and sister-in-law, when they lived in New Mexico for a period of time, went to that. They have like a big hot air balloon parade, not a parade, but like a festival.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's what it's like in Southern California. There'd be like 40 of them going up at the same time. What they don't tell you about is how they land. You always hear about, oh, how beautiful and peaceful, and you're floating along. The sheer terror of how they land.
Well, so it's got to be rough because your basket, you just hit. There's nothing below your basket, right? Or do you have little bumpers?
So at the top of the balloon, there's a hole they open. A little butthole.
Oh, at the very top to let the air
escapes.
out?
Yeah. And it's like an iris, right? So they can open it larger. Yes. And that's how they lower the balloon, right?
So they probably try to do it as slowly as possible, but it's still, you're coming in hot.
You're coming in hot.
You're coming in cold.
But what you're watching, exactly. What you're watching is other balloons, some that are higher than you. It's very beautiful. But as you're coming in for your landing, you're not just coming directly down. You're kind of like drifting in the breeze, and you're looking down, you're seeing another balloon and you're like, wow, look at it. It's going to land. How cool. But then you hear people screaming in terror, because these things, when they hit the ground, sometimes they don't hit like smoothly, like the basket drag, it hits, and they, to make it cost effective, they have to charge a bunch of people money to get in the basket to go up to pay for the fuel. So there's maybe like 9 people in this basket. And when it hits, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it's a smooth landing. Don't at me if you're a hot air balloon captain or whatever.
Engineer.
But the one that landed before us, now picture there's like 40 of us in the air and various heights. 2 of them went in real hot with their landing, and it was a disaster.
Well, did anybody get injured?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Do you have to strap in, or are you just
too worried about
loosey-goosey?
You're just loosey-goosey.
Okay. Then it must not be that dangerous.
Yeah, I don't think it's that dangerous. But
I think you're exaggerating and being overly dramatic.
Well, they landed, but not very good. And then it bounced. And the guy, I think he pulled the string, tightened up the little
so they
iris,
took up a little bit?
And they took up a little bit because he came in too fast. He was like, I think he was getting his learner's permit.
Well, I mean, it's got to be. It's like anything. It's like tricky. Coming, you're like, you know.
Yeah, and you've got all sorts of factors going
Well,
on.
how much do people weigh? How many people can be in the basket? Are they shifting around? Does that shift the weight? I mean, there's a lot. I've always wanted to do the hot air balloon thing, but it's never been that much of a priority that I've like, I gotta do this, you know? But yeah, we could totally do it. I'm sure they have it here in the big skies of Texas. You just have to make sure there's no thunderstorms coming. Because
I didn't even think about that. That's an added layer of...
maybe we go back to California to do it or something where there's no lightning.
Right.
Because days will be perfectly beautiful here, and then all of a sudden it'll be like grumble, grumble, and you're like, fuck, get out. I'd rather you drop me hot than
You're
leave
not
me
wearing
in
a
the
belt
sky.
buckle, are you?
I know.
I didn't know.
And they were never heard from
You
again.
didn't read the waiver? You're not supposed to wear any metal.
No metal. Okay. Don't eat metal. Okay. About the balloons. So anyways, as far as he remembers, landing was not that pleasant.
Okay.
About the number of balloons, I think this depends on their size. Think of Felix Baumgartner.
Yes.
He had only one that lifted him up for his jump. Remember?
That's
those
some
weather
amazing
balloons.
footage. Felix Baumgartner, that was the Red Bull
Yeah, where he
jump from the
jumped
edge
out
of
of
the
it.
atmosphere.
That was crazy. I don't even know. He had only one that lifted him up for his jump. Those weather balloons can become pretty big and carry quite some weight, but I'm confident my fellow staff riders will be able to come up with a good number.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
But yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I'm surprised. I know he had like his little air oxygen, you know, but they always talk about how pilots and stuff can get, it's not it's like when you don't have enough air for a while, you get, there's a word for it, but it's very common when you do.
Hypoxia?
Yes,
No.
that's it. Something like that. Hypoxia. Yeah. I think you're correct.
Okay, Google, what does hypoxia mean?
Here's the definition of hypoxia: deficiency in the amount of oxygen reaching the tissues.
10 out of 10.
Much like Christoph, I have accumulated a lot of useless knowledge, but sometimes it comes in handy.
It does, like right then. Okay.
I was worried that I got that word wrong.
No, because I just watched NCIS where they thought a pilot had it. And so I knew it was fresh in my mind. When you said it, I was like, that's the word that they used. NCIS coming in hot. Okay. And finally, I promised some speak pipes, and I must admit, I haven't sent them yet, but I will. You will get to hear my new guitars with the riff I have for Grind My Gear.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait. Hope you're doing good. Greetings from Austria, Christoph.
Did you go electric? Did you go acoustic?
It's electric.
Time will tell. I'm excited. Did you get a modern style guitar?
I think he does both
vintage?
electric and acoustic, but I would guess it's electric. Okay.
If someone pulls out an acoustic guitar around a campfire, you hope that they have a good repertoire, because if it's just like dust in the wind, I remember Shawn Nichols used to pull that trick all the time. I'm going to play a little, not around a campfire, but when
Does
people
he play guitar?
Yeah, he does.
How did I never know this? I've known him for so long.
He gave it up for Lent once and never went back.
That's a lie.
No, I think he just put it down and never. He had taken it in college for a little
really?
bit.
Wow, I never knew. He does not strike me as that type of dude.
Guitar player? Yeah.
Well, like, I don't mean a guitar, but like the dorky type to try to pull it out at a campfire kind of thing.
He would do it as a joke, though. Like he'd gather everyone around. He was like, "Hey, anyone want to hear some guitar?" And then he would play "Dust in the Wind" every time. All we are is dust. I think it was because that was on a movie or something, like Old School. Doesn't the guy play that?
I have no idea, baby. I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I think I've watched Old School like completely once, and then portions of it like 75 times.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, gather around. I'm going to play. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, by Poison. Just play like a really...
I mean, that's not that bad of a song.
It's not a bad song, but like...
It's not too like...
There's a lot of other songs
like
that they're
forlorn. Every rose. People can still sing along
that's
with
lovely.
it.
Go ahead.
Has its thorn. Oh.
That guy...
The warble.
What's his name? Brett Michaels?
I don't know.
The lead singer. And there was CeCe DeVille and...
Of AC/DC?
Katie. Oh,
is he the guy in the
that's the end of
schoolboy
this
outfit?
podcast. Is he the guy in the school? No, Poison. Big hair, not AC/DC. AC/DC was a real band, or is a real band.
I'm kidding.
Poison is, I guess, by definition.
Poison.
Belle Biv DeVoe.
I know.
That's a real band. Poison was also, I guess, a real band, but maybe a little lesser down the...
Well, they were like, what do they call them? Hairspray rock or something?
Yeah, Hairspray Rock. That's what it's called.
I don't know what it's called. But
Yeah.
Something like that, isn't it?
The hair bands.
Yeah. Hair bands.
Yeah.
I thought these were hair bands
the
that
80s.
like make your hair into a pony, but hair bands also.
So that guy built, I think he didn't build, but he redid Shane's house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was, after music, he got into being a contractor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that was a tangent.
Okay. Lynn has sent us a letter.
Thanks for writing, Christoph. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I'm excited to hear about the guitars. Let's jump into Lynn's letter.
Deep thoughts with Lynn. I'm just kidding. There's no subject for this. So let your imagination run wild. She writes, I watched episode 74 where I wrote in and shared 3 of the strangest thoughts that my head has been able to produce in my lifetime. And I feel like a tiny explanation is in place. First of all, I assure you, I am not smoking weed. And frankly, I've never found that to be necessary. I would never have imagined, Lynn. But I do like to play with reality in my head and see how it can bend or how I can push the limits and be open-minded about the world that I'm in. I appreciate that. At least it used to be this way. I used to find inspiration this way to draw or write as a teenager. And when I was a child, it was just my way to withdraw into my own mind and set myself free from the way the world was. That can be nice to like withdraw away from chaos and be like, I'm in my own space. That's what meditation, I think, really is. Mm-hmm. Play with reality might not be the right word, more like wonder and try to imagine how the world would have felt if it was completely different. Mm-hmm. I can't explain why or how, but I was able to imagine that I was seeing the world for the very first time. Do you ever have those revelations in your brain where all of a sudden you're like, I don't know, shocked by a wave of realization or thought?
Yeah, all the time.
Like I remember, I only have one that I remember, like I recall that feeling so intensely. I had to be like, I don't know, 12, 11, like pretty young. And I was like doing my thinking at night where I would go, before I go to sleep, I'd do my thinking. And all of a sudden it hit me how young I was, like in relation to how much life I still had left to live, which I know sounds really weird for like welcome to being Katie. This is just how I was. And I was like, oh my God, I have so much life to live. Like, I don't need to be this grown up yet. Boom.
Deep thoughts.
With Katie. While I was looking at my precious moments, things on my wall, I had these 2 precious moments, framed things as a kid. And then these little plastic balloons. Anybody else have funny decorations like that as a kid? But they were like right across from my bed next to my closet. And I would just like look at them and think, do my thinking. Did you ever do your thinking as a kid?
I still do my thinking. I do my own thinking.
Any revelations? Anything like that? No?
Yeah, I remember
thinking. You said all the time as if.
One of my earliest, deepest thoughts. My deepest thoughteth. When I was a kid, I remember being like maybe 5 or 6 playing in the dirt. Okay. It was actually sand. It was like little sandy
dirt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember thinking that the sand was probably like what the universe was.
Oh, wow.
That
is a deepest thoughteth.
Yep. That all the grains were like, what if we're on
how small we are.
Yeah. I remember thinking, what if we're on a grain, and then there's all these other grains. And I would assume that out in space, and this is before they discovered all the other planets within the last 10 years, not the ones in our solar system. They've known about those for a little while, but
we learned about them in school,
ones that are outside of our solar system. We believed that they were there, but we found out recently that they're...
Well, travel, like actual proof was hard to fathom or to come by.
The telescope power, resolving power of telescopes was so horrible. And now, I think within the last 15 years, I think it was 15 years ago, they discovered but they proved that there were other planets outside of the solar system.
Yeah, and other galaxies and stuff like that.
Well, they knew about the galaxies, but they didn't know about the planets. They knew about the stars, but we didn't have the power to see. And now... We
don't have the power.
But now we do. And I think they've cataloged, I think there's 1,500 to 2,500 planets. I don't know.
That's
this
crazy.
is a Ben question.
But yeah, we have to ask Ben.
He's like, you are an idiot,
space
buddy.
Correspondent. No, but it is interesting. I don't know why as children, I believe, and this is like hypotheses with Katie. I hypothesize that when we're kids, we're less snuffed out by society. So we're more free thinking at that point.
Sure.
I feel like we pick up different vibrations than adults do because we're like open to them. Where I feel like as we get older, we're like...
Well, you start to learn all the rules and It's like putting fences, it stops you from going a little further. But if you take down that fence and you go a little further.
What will we find?
And I think that's why people use drugs, to take down fences.
I think, some yes and others no. I think a lot of people do it to numb out.
To fall asleep next to the fence?
No, because they can't handle their life.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I think the majority of people.
But I meant like caffeine. You use caffeine to get over the fence. You drink a lot of caffeine, then you jump over the fence and you keep running.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's how
this
my
makes
brain
no sense. This
works.
segment.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
We're free thinking. We're just thinking out loud. It's probably all wrong, but you have to.
You have to let your brain
exercise.
Yep. Okay. We ready? Back into Lynn's deep thinking. Lynn, you got us already deep thinking. Okay. So remember, she said, I imagine how the world would have felt if it was completely different. Mm-hmm. I can't explain why or how, but I was able to imagine that I was seeing the world for the very first time, as if I had just fallen from space and everything looked unfamiliar. This way of seeing things opened up a billion new things to wonder about. It was like entering a door into a new and overgrown hallway with a billion more doors to explore that had never been explored before.
The doors of perception.
Mm-hmm. I can see that it was normally pretty unusual to be fascinated by the fact that the wall doesn't move, or remember that's what she was talking about last time? The wall doesn't move or let you pass through it if you ask nicely. But if I was in the state of mind where I could look around me and everything looked as if I'd never seen it before, I began wondering about things in another way. And I did it on purpose, just because it made the world look fascinating, and it made me able to investigate things in it that I had seen a billion times before with new curiosity, and wonder why the world was exactly like that instead of another way. Like, why couldn't you pass through the walls? In another universe you could. And I still promise you, I need no drugs. But I like that though. Like, it's almost akin to, I think we use this term a lot especially in work environments where they're like, we need a fresh set of eyes on this, right? They'll say that a lot of times when you've been working on a project too long and you like can't, even with my book and stuff, like you can't see. Doing the audiobook, we found like 5 or 6 typos.
Oh, really?
Or edits. It's always this way. But usually my publisher's more on it, and I've done the audiobook way before we've gone to print. So those of you who get the first prints will find a few errors.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pretty annoying.
The ones that go to the bookstore?
Yeah. They've already gone to print. But usually I do my audiobook like months in advance. But my editor and my publisher has been a little lacking this time around. I'll say it. I said it. They're really slow, and everything's very, like, the audiobooks are way last minute compared.
Ultimately, it's not a big deal if there's a couple of typos. That the concept is there. It's not like there's paragraphs in the wrong places. It's like a couple of misspellings. No, it's not misspellings. Like one's a wrong word. Okay.
Like I don't remember what it is, but let's say it's supposed to be one and it says until or something. And you're like, that doesn't make sense. Or, it should be a comma here, or that word should be removed. Oh, okay. Like stuff like that. There's probably like 5 or 6. I know, it's frustrating, but,
it's still a good book.
It is, of course. But I said that because you need a fresh set of eyes, right? I had not looked at that text in months since the last edit, which there's a copy editor, and who knows, that might not have been the final. Because again,
that's true.
My publisher has not been on it.
We haven't seen a final copy.
I haven't
we just have the abridged, not abridged. What's it called?
It's an unedited galley copies. But anyways, long story short, if I had not seen that for, usually it's like a month or 2, and then I do the audiobook like normal, those things would have been caught. But you need a fresh set of eyes. Right. And I think what Lynn's talking about is like having the fresh set of eyes into the world, where you're like, imagine I don't understand how windows work. How could I, is that your stomach? I could hear it in my headphones.
I was hoping no one heard that.
Hunger brought to you by Sean. Okay. I honestly completely forgot why or how this wall thing had ever ended up crossing my mind, but this was how. I have never given much thought to the fact that other people don't do this until now. I used to spend time with people that could follow my mind more or less, or go down their own rabbit holes and find silly things to wonder about that probably wouldn't help the world much, even if we found the answers to the things we wondered about. The point is to imagine simply because it's just fascinating to imagine things and to wonder about them.
Lynn is would this be our philosopher?
I think perhaps? So. She's our staff, our philosopher liaison.
She's philosophizing.
Philosophizer. She's our philosophizer. Okay. She goes on though. I tried to write something about being afraid of water, but not being afraid of the space over our heads as in the universe. I just want to correct myself because I'm not sure it came across the right way. I don't really imagine any monster like coming from the sky. But what fascinated me was that we, or I at least, can be afraid of the water and imagine being dragged under by creatures and things. That certainly does not exist in lakes here, and feel pretty paranoid. But still, the huge black space that has always been over my head has never given me even one tiny goosebump. It's true. The vastness.
Yeah, but because you can't float up into space and just like, because gravity holds us in place. So you're not going to float away into space and die, or, you know, but you could drown. Right.
True, but so I don't think it's in the drowning. Maybe. But also the unknown you can't see. But we can't. I mean, I guess you can see better in the sky. Maybe that's it.
Oh God, I wouldn't want to see something if it's about to eat me. I'd rather just happen by like surprise, you're a snack.
And it's gone. Boom.
Shark
Lights
takes
out.
you, or that guy who went into the whale's mouth, Jonah or whatever. And but you know, if you saw it coming, that would be terrifying. Like crystal clear water. You've got like, let's say, I don't know, 50 feet.
No.
And the shark is still swimming at you. You're like, he's getting closer. Swim for it. And, you know, that would be scary.
Back into the sky. Not even reminding myself that it's gigantic and mostly mysterious gives me goosebumps, and a completely pointless thing to think about, but still something that makes me fascinated.
Right.
I do concur. Okay. Says, I'm not going to write letters like this one here in the future. I just felt like I wanted to explain. I'm glad you did.
That kind of gives me the willies. I'm just going to jump back in that for a second.
It gives you goosebumps?
Well, I keep seeing these things, articles, where scientists say we spotted an asteroid and it's going to be a near collision, but it's going to go past. No, like asteroids.
Oh, not space ships.
Not aliens, but, you know, it's not going to hit us, but it could. And they think around like 2,300 AD, this one's going to come back around the sun and it's going to come back, and it may impact the Earth, you know. But we keep an eye out. There's a catalog of asteroids,
space junk,
things that could strike the Earth, but every once in a while they discover something like really last minute. Usually it's an amateur astronomer that notices something, and they're like, "Hey, have you seen?"
Interesting. That reminds me of when we were at Zeitgeist a couple of years ago before COVID, and she was so like meek and mild, but the woman who discovered what are they called? They flash, they spin.
Oh yeah.
It'll come to me.
Quasars.
Yes, quasars.
Pulsar
stars. Yes. Anyway. The woman who discovered them, she's a British woman, and she was a student at the time. And I still, like, first of all, she was lovely, which just adds to my frustration. The fact that her professor took credit and got like a fucking
Nobel Prize
for her discovery. I was like, fuck that guy.
I think that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. But in that case, what they said at Zeitgeist, even when interviewing her, was that other people in her program, other men, got credit for their discoveries and she did not. So it was like a specific instance of her being a female that she didn't get it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the professor does that all the time.
She was the first person, I think, did she? No, I forget how it worked.
She took her own time. No, she was manning the telescope at night. You know, they took their turns or whatever. And she kept noticing these, it would like flash and then go away, flash and go away. So it wasn't a standard star where you would see the light consistently. And her professor was like, stop looking at this, is stupid. This is nothing. Don't worry about, like, essentially brushing it over. And she's like, no, I think something's there. So she spent her free time looking at them. And we're like, no, there's patterns. And there's this one and this one. And I've seen them. And they go at this pace and blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, it's a pulsar star. Anyway.
Okay, Google, who found pulsar stars?
On the website nationalgeographic.com, they say, when Dame Jocelyn Bell Burnell discovered the first pulsar 51 years ago, she revealed a new tool for solving many mysteries of the cosmos.
Dame Jocelyn Bell. Yeah, so Jocelyn Bell was really interesting. At least Google has it right.
They do.
Yeah.
Probably because she was at Google's. Like,
history has been corrected.
Yeah. Yay! Okay. So, moving on. Lynn says, yeah, she felt like she needed to explain. And in an attempt to offer you something else than explaining myself, I just wanted to share something I just found in an old journal. I'm not full of these thoughts, but I have had a few bright moments in my life. and I've written them down. It's not Dalai Lama material or anything. It's just me. And tried to write down something that I usually need to remind myself of when I get tired. Or when I get tired of always trying to get back on my feet when falling. And what you said was just that every time life knocks you down, it's a chance to get back on your feet and learn why you keep being knocked down. And another journal entry said that fire is made to burn old things down when it's the time for it, even when they still look beautiful, and to make room for something new just because we are always made to grow and change. I like that. It's hard to trust in it when it feels terrible, but sometimes it's better to let it do what fire does and trust that there's a reason for it and something on the other side. And it's kind of like life's way of giving you the chance to learn what you need. It's easy to forget. And I usually need to keep reminding myself that terrible events are not the end and that you have to push through them because the sun is literally underneath the horizon and just out of sight, but it's not gone. She's so poetic. And to think that English is her second language.
Pretty amazing.
So that's it. Until next time. Oh, next time I'll write. I'll send you something more entertaining than this. I hope your podcast goes well and that funny and good letter gives you all a good laugh or just something to think about. Deep Thoughts with Lynn. I like it. Thanks, Lynn. Moving on. We got time for more?
Yeah.
One more. We've got a short one. Another one from Ben.
All right.
Our tech/space liaison.
I'm back, baby.
He's back. Oh, he already has an answer. Christoph, you were correct. Subject line reading. How many balloons to lift a person?
This is like happening in real time. It's like a Slack channel.
I love it. Hey, Katie and Sean. Just saw episode 74 where you asked how many balloons it would take to lift a person.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Ben?
He says, each balloon is capable of lifting about 14 grams of mass, or 0.5 ounces.
How large is the balloon?
That means for a 4-kilogram baby, so small baby, it would take about 270 balloons to lift a newborn baby and about 4,000 to lift a 110-pound kid. And maybe, just maybe, 7,000 balloons to lift an adult, roughly. So now we know. A house weighs about 40 tons, so closer to 3 million balloons for up to lift the house.
Oh, so Pixar was full of shit.
So just a few. Yeah, I think Pixar only gave like 12. So
right, but they were big balloons.
They were big balloons. Mm-hmm. In their defense. Okay, the balloons would stay intact for a fairly long period of time. Half of that number of balloons, 1.5 million, was released in 1986. Many of them sunk due to a cold front in the area and ended up in the nearby Lake Erie. It was so damaging that the Guinness Book of World Records will no longer update such events. Yeah, don't want to encourage people to fucking release trash into the air. There are a lot of pictures out there. Just Google Balloon Fest 86. Thanks for all you do, Ben. And then he links the Balloon Fest and also how you figure out how many balloons it will take for you to
float away.
Yeah, to float away. Balloon Fest in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland does rock.
So Drew Carey told me.
He did. So we have a speak pipe from Graham. Do we want to end on a speak pipe?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should.
We haven't heard from Graham in a while. So.
We haven't. Our staff writer extraordinaire.
Hello, this is Graham.
What's up, buddy?
You're probably wondering why there hasn't been any new episode of Canadian Nights for a while.
I was just wondering.
Well, I'm sorry to announce this to the OTDM community, but the series has been canceled and there will be no further episodes forthcoming. I know I've let a lot of you down, but I have no choice in this matter. As a direct result of my irresponsible and unforgivable actions, Sean has fired me as a staff writer after my unqualified boasting on the podcast that 2021 will be the Habs year, and thus ended up jinxing Montreal out of the Stanley Cup.
This is unfortunate.
I fooled you, didn't I?
You did fool us.
I'm sorry for the false pretenses, but the real truth is that the dreaded writer's block has smothered my creativity, much in the same way the wildfire smoke around where I live is currently smothering my lung tissue. Tabarnouche. Don't worry, Katie and Sean, I wouldn't just quit on you. What, leave Mr. Fuckity-Fuck Rampage to get away with his crimes against humanity? Not on my damn story. I promise I'll be sending along an episode as soon as possible. Until then, hope you're well, take care, be well, and remember, like snow-crossed lovers in a frigid Montreal's eve, love means never having to say Bonsoir. Bye-bye, guys. Until next time.
Bonsoir.
I miss Canadian nights.
Oh, I know. He sounds like such a Canadian when I hear his voice again. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I love it. He's such a good writer. And yeah, writer's block does happen.
I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I feel for people who are in the fires right now.
Oh, fuck. It's even in Washington. My mom said it. Like the nights, like they had horrible fires. Not where they are.
In Oregon?
But they're in Western Washington. Eastern Washington was on fire as well as part of Oregon.
I didn't know Eastern Washington was on fire.
And so they had, I think it was like up near BC.
It makes sense. I mean, BC is just raging. There's 300 forest fires burning.
But the sunsets are like those red, eerie. Mm-hmm. We know those too well from our LA days.
And I believe the forest fire season runs through October.
Yeah. Sometimes into November.
We still have two months left to go. And already the most acreage is... The amount of acres that have burned in California.
The most ever.
Yeah.
Every year, it outdoes itself. Oh, so be careful out there. Check your weather app if you're in an area where there are fires, and check if you scroll down in your weather app, it tells you the air quality. If it is dangerous, usually at the top, it will warn you like sensitive groups, but just be aware the particles, I think it's like ppm,
parts per million.
Yeah. Particles per million or something. I don't know. But anyway, it'll tell you that. And you don't really want to be out when it's over 100, 150.
Certainly wearing a mask is key.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with
not
COVID.
For COVID, but for the smoke.
Yeah.
And if you have like we had to do with our doors because like you guys know, our apartment was just like a leaky sieve for things. You could see light around the doors. So we would close towels into them to keep the smoke out. So take precautions out there, peeps. Be careful. Be safe.
Yeah. Let us know what's going on in your part of the world right now with forest fires.
Yeah. And also
do you have anything going on? I mean, it's wild in not Germany. Sorry. In Greece.
Yeah.
Greece has forest fires.
I know.
I don't know if there are fires in Europe right now.
I don't know if Greece is still on fire.
Yes.
In fuego? It's still in fuego?
Yes. Oh, no. And it's raging. So.
Oh no. Let's not end on a shitty note. You just took us into the pit of despair.
No, I was riffing.
You want them to send letters about forest fires?
No, I just want to know what's going on in your part of the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am curious about other parts of the world because in the States, I'm sure, as everybody else is kind of feeling, the Delta variant's making COVID like, it's here. You thought it was gone.
And I went into the pit of despair. I didn't even mention, well, I did about a minute ago, but I didn't.
But let us know how you're doing and what's happening. And just because I feel like the news here is so not news, it's like we only hear about two things, COVID and states not doing the same things, and Afghanistan. And that's
three things.
Well, I mean, COVID and states not doing the same things. I call like the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could say three, whatever. But we only hear about that. So let us know how you're doing. But for stories, what do we want this week? What do we want them to send in, Sean? I want to hear, I think we might have already kind of touched on this, but because I hyperextended my thumb trying to get leggings off of my foot, I'd like to hear the funniest way you've injured yourself. Have we done this before? We've done bike injuries and stuff, but
something similar, I believe, crossed our paths on episode 35.
But this might spur something else in someone's mind. Funny ways you hurt yourself.
I would like to hear about funny hairdos that you received.
Like when my mom half permed her hair and half not in the 80s?
Not things that you did on purpose. Well, maybe things that you look back on and say, "Ooh, that was a mistake." Mm-hmm. So, okay, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for stories about your hairdo. Things that you did on purpose and you're like, ooh, that was, in hindsight, not a good idea.
Or even accidents like, oops, I tried to cut my bangs, which people told us about that.
Yep.
And they're like,
or if a hairdresser took some creative liberties and you left saying, oh, thank you very much. And then you got home and you're like,
you cried.
Oh my God, how am I going to fix this one?
Right. Oh, yeah. The worst mistake you had to get fixed.
Mainly because I'm jealous of any hairdo.
And how you hurt yourself in a funny way.
You've seen my love of filters in Snapchat. Mm-hmm. The reason why I like it is because they always have funny hairdos. And so my latest, I think one of my profiles on social media.
I saw it and I said, Sean, have you been on Snapchat again? He's like, what? Why? And I was like, because you changed your profile picture to some weird version of you.
Yeah. I look like some weird director or something with a turtleneck and big glasses and a pile of hair.
You have like a pompadour, but it also makes your face shiny and taut, like you had like somebody pull it tight. Yeah.
My face isn't shiny and taut?
No.
It's wrinkly and...
No, it's just not.
I look weathered like Clint Eastwood.
It looks like a filter.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But those are, and I think we might have had stories like that before. But if you have a fun story to share, just share your story. Yeah. I'm loving all the stories. And we're getting kind of caught up. We're into August. So I feel good about that. We'll keep cruising through. And you send in your stories to otdmpod@gmail.com.
You can also send in a speak pipe. We do get speak pipes, as you just heard.
We do like those.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to put people's voices
I try not to talk
names.
over them because Sean said that the audio then is hard.
I know, I told you to do that.
It's hard for me not to.
Then I went and talked over it.
I know you did a bunch. And I was like, I guess a little's okay.
Oh, my nose. I got to trim my beard, man.
Uh-oh.
Maybe
now
I'll give
you know
myself,
how I feel.
Maybe I'll give myself you got to trim your beard?
No, but when I have to kiss you and I'm like, I got caught with a whisker.
I think I'm going to do a funny.
Ooh. Can cut it down to.
I'll just get rid of my mustache and it'll just be just a beard,
Looks incomplete.
Yeah. Or it looks like Abraham Lincoln. He didn't have a mustache, right?
Oh, yeah. Why did he keep a beard? That's so weird.
Style, baby.
That would be a hairstyle. I would count that as a hairstyle.
Maybe just giant mutton chops.
Yeah. Or if you have a photo to accompany your story of hair, please send the photos. If I can find that old photo of my mom from the 80s, they had this holiday party. And I remember it so vividly because it was the time when she was like perming her hair halfway. It's half perm, half not. And she was wearing this like electric blue dress, which was like, so 80s.
Style.
It was like half lace, but blue lace, like not, it's like all bright blue, but it had like lace bits and poofy shoulder pads. And it was just.
Well, she's your fashion icon, your fashion inspiration, because you do wear things like that. I don't know if you noticed.
I wear puffy sleeves.
You
yes.
do, yeah.
I do love a puffy sleeve.
Yeah.
Got to have a little flair.
Like the Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah. Got to have fun where you can. Nobody ever got excited about wearing a t-shirt.
Blue jeans, black t-shirt. That's the way to go. Blue jeans, white t-shirt. That's also a way to go.
Sean's part of the Newsboys.
All right, I'm out of here.
Okay.
Can't take these insults.
Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.